flop.
Big.
Yeah, you guys are going at it.
Wow.
Ooh,
Wow,
baby.
look at that. Look at that.
Damn.
Someone could be out on the first hand.
First hand. This is action.
First hand
Talk about
rebuy.
action.
Dude, I have 5 high.
Rebuy.
dude.
5.
I have
Oh.
you dominated then.
Man, Chris, that's a power play.
That is a power play.
I didn't know you played so well.
You checked
I
it.
should
I'm
have
gonna
checked. If I played well, I would have
You
checked.
you reject the family pot for ace 5 offsuit on the first hand. That just tells you a lot right there. That tells you
Yep.
everything you need to know.
He's reading some good books. That's what it's telling us.
What do I got here? This is the book I got now. The Currency Cold War. Has anyone seen this one?
Nope.
No.
I haven't read it. I haven't opened it, but that's all I got.
Who's David Birch?
No idea.
How did you get the book?
He's an internationally recognized thought leader in digital identity and digital money.
Like the Birch Society or something, or is that something different?
I like the logos on it, like the Space Invaders stuff. There's a foreword by Michael Casey.
By the way, guys, in the chat, I put the Twitter link for the stream. If y'all could share it on Twitter, we'll get some eyes on the game.
Good point.
Birch. I get to that.
Did any of your Twitter accounts get hacked?
Nope. I was talking to your brother today. He's been dealing with it. They haven't even turned him back on yet.
What, he can't get into his Twitter?
No, he hasn't been able to get in since the hack.
God damn.
Because he was he shilling Litecoin?
Yeah, that must be it. That has to be it.
Charlie's actually a bigger Bitcoin fan than Litecoin fan. I'll say that since he's not here.
That's for sure. I can agree with that. So what's the latest and greatest, everybody? What caught your attention this week in the crypto world? What's everyone thinking about?
Oh, Bitcoin just popped.
Yeah. Do you think that's to do the
volatility's back.
I think that's the bank thing.
That's right, man. I was having to resort
Out
to
of
this
it.
thing to gamble, and like now I can go back to Bitcoin.
Wait, what's the bank thing?
They just
Banks
approved
can have
100%
custody.
U.S. or custody crypto.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Pretty big step. No one wanted to play? I was just straddle.
oh, I had a suited ace there, buddy. I had ace 3
Shit.
hearts.
On the
That's
straddle.
a good hand.
I would have joined you there. I was fixing the stream.
Good straddle hand there.
Great straddle hand. All right, we got probably the quickest rebuy in the history of the game by Ed. Great way to get rolling.
Come on, Chris. Like I come into this game every time. I probably rebuy 3 or 4 times before I get even.
Not too far off. I tend to rebuy quite frequently myself.
It's been my history.
Oh, look at that.
Whoa!
flop. Hello.
I'm holding it up. I could call with my.
Wow.
Wow.
Use of
Wow.
diamonds.
So this means Peter has quads, basically.
Got pocket aces.
Hope not.
Pocket aces for sure.
I don't think Peter was the one who raised it up at the beginning, was it? There's Mike over here. Mike repping the ace.
Up to.
Hey, Chris, I forgot to ask. I forgot to point out, rather. Your hat. It's still the Bitcoin Cash logo.
Yeah, it's the way it's sideways on the card. I guess you
Did
could
you
say.
did you do as a term of endearment for Roger?
No. There was no none of that behind it whatsoever.
You won't consider changing the angle of the cards?
No. It needs to be changed. I recognize. I recognize that, Bobby. It will happen.
Oh, Crystal. All right. Easy come, easy go. Quads.
Oh, you had the jack.
Oh, the river.
Did not see that one.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
I had the ace.
Did you really?
I did, yeah, ace 5.
What was the kicker? Why did you not call?
Ace 5 off
You were
suit.
big. You were big blind.
I was, yeah, but there was only a raise and a call in front of me, and then like 3 people behind me. So it's like easy. Yeah, really want to fuck around with ace 5.
Oh.
Peter, did you buy any DeFi projects this last week?
Did I fuck? All I just see is a mess. I saw some 8.5 million on Ethereum was stolen during some like meme pool mine. I fucking don't know, mate.
YFI.
Can someone-
I don't get it, but it's
Peter,
absolutely mental.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, can someone tell me the real upside positive spin on DeFi? Am I the only one who doesn't get it, or what?
Nobody gets it.
Future, bro. I think Peter mentioned that.
Straddles give you good hands. Chris got ace queen. I got ace king.
All right,
Bobby,
I'm
what
sorry.
don't you get about it?
What's like? What is it? I mean, aside from like, what's the story?
The story is you can use your crypto to lend and borrow with smart contracts. That's the story.
But is that a new? Why do we need a term for that?
And there's like billions of dollars of people doing it.
And provide
And-
liquidity for decentralized exchanges too. That's
Yeah.
sort of the
Who's losing money?
What do you mean?
basically what's happening is you provide liquidity to a decentralized exchange, and in return for doing so, they give you this made up token that the community is given a value of $10 or whatever. So your return is massive. You get like 500.
So that's how you increase your return, and that's where this concept of yield farming. So you're
But
just trying
without
to
these made up tokens, like the value isn't there. So
And once again,
I
do we need
expect
that new
them all to
token?
go
Okay.
down.
I mean,
Do we need the new token, or can it
You
be
don't-
done with an existing?
you don't need
the
it.
token
currency.
to promote liquidity, like Balancer.
Yeah,
I
it's
would
like
never
bootstrapping.
use Balancer or provide liquidity on Balancer for its normal return. But because you get this made up token that's worth something, it makes sense to take on that smart contract risk and all the other bullshit to provide liquidity.
And it's a great incentive, right? You're using what you have to your disposal to get users to engage and interact. Like it's, from when you're looking at it from a pure like customer acquisition perspective, it's pretty impressive, But that's what's happening. And it's very complicated to use, that's for sure. Like very complicated.
And Ethereum gas fees are crazy too.
Yeah. They're higher than Bitcoin now, right?
So is it a pump Ethereum miners?
I think it does that. I think it also pumps ETH big time. Right?
Finally, he finally made a move today, up 10%, 7%.
Yeah, jeez.
I haven't even looked at the prices today, actually. There you go. Yeah.
Was your heart rate lower?
No. I had an interesting day. We had to get a dock out of the beach, and the car got stuck trying to get the dock out of the beach. and then we had to get a tow truck to pull the truck out to pull the the dock out. So it was an interesting 6-hour day on that.
It's like a great script for a sitcom episode, right?
It is, and the characters in it, the tow truck driver, I can't even tell you this.
Right?
Makes me laugh just thinking about it. The delivery guy that came to pick it up, he was another character. Pretty funny.
Probably. What are you doing
Did
over
I go
there,
all in on
man?
you?
Wow.
Just massive bets.
What's your rebuy here?
Bobby's not messing around tonight.
I think he's got like an ace king.
Suited.
That or an overpair. All right, I'll donate my money and rebuy.
Ace 10 of spades. Oh, 10
Oh.
of 10.
Oh. Damn.
Wow. What happened to your overpair?
Overpair gets through.
Oh, I thought you had over.
No, I just don't know why you're shoving all that money in. I thought you were trying to make me fold.
I was.
You're bluffing with the best hand.
I know. That's what confused me.
That's one
One
way
way
to
to do it. I want to do that more.
You play
I
a
wanna
bluff.
try to do that more.
You play a bluff, but you have a good
that
hand.
bluffing with the, who explained that as bluffing with the best hand? I like that. Well, I didn't. Yeah, anyways, I had a draw. If it weren't for the draw, I wouldn't have bet so much. So Luke just rebought. And a message in the group. There you go. 1K.
One. Wow, this is a quick game today. 2 rebuys?
Back.
It is.
Ah, I could have taken a bit more off you.
You
there.
got it.
I could have got you. I could have got another $50 off you there. I reckon.
You thought I was fishing.
I did. I was just about to do it. I was like, but it's crystal.
I was like, the chance you have a king is still present and possible.
I do not trust you. I just like
That's fine. We work with trustless systems.
yeah.
I'm not expecting you to trust anyone else.
Just thought that was fishy.
So back to a topic we mentioned 3 weeks ago. So what is, for the next crypto bull market, what is the impetus? Like what's going to be the wood that's going to allow us to burn for that big, what's expression? Basically, we need some for the bull market to burn on, right?
What's the
So
narrative?
last time it was tokens and ICOs. Will DeFi be this sort of thing to get the public to really get excited and like fuel is the right word. What is that, the fuel for the next bubble?
No.
I think a lot of money is coming into DeFi right now, and what I see is eventually it'll return to the safer assets of like Bitcoin and Ether. But for now, it's
So
coming
so you
in
think-
from fiat to DeFi.
So you think DeFi could be the fuel for the market?
I don't think so.
I think DeFi is bringing more money into the space, but it's not going to stay in DeFi because it will eventually dry up. So where will they go? Will they take it back to fiat, or will they just put it into Bitcoin? I think at least a portion of it will go to Bitcoin.
I think it's going to be a little while before DeFi dries up before the bubble bursts.
What'd you say, Ed?
So I think it's going to be a little while before the DeFi bubble bursts.
Yeah,
I
it
think
just
I'll
started,
start-
right? Even if you think about ICOs, it was really like 8 months, 6 to 8 months.
I mean, there might not be as much upside as there was in like the ICO bubble on these like shit coins. But we haven't really even gotten to the stage where like people are like coming up with the back of the napkin DeFi projects.
When
Yeah,
does the bubble shift from investment into consumer though? Because we're relying on inflated dollars from large token holders? What about distribution of mass amounts of small token holders? When is that possible?
What do you mean by distribution of mass amounts of small token holders?
So let's say, a consumer product that hits scale in mass, even if it's low value, can still create a bubble situation if it's not investors. Right now, we're still relying on people who hold giant bags of tokens. So is there a possibility that usage and actual users and adoption creates a wave of some sort?
I think it's unlikely in this wave. In order to get consumer adoption, you need to have like a 10x better experience than like what exists in the real world. And I just don't see that. I mean, like these systems are still they're so late and they're so slow. I don't know. That's my personal opinion. Just from a product point of view.
I don't think it speaks to the next run. Like the next run, at the next couple runs is probably just going to be speculative investment, right? I think that's just the nature of how far we are.
You gotta have the media behind it, though, writ large, kind of moving in concert, I think, to kind of get the retail money in.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think small scale investors, like all of the the small investment apps lighting up with crypto, like Robinhood and others, does that make any impact?
I think PayPal, the deal with PayPal makes a real impact. That's like
PayPal.
hundreds of millions of users.
Coming to Wealth
And-
Simple
And we see what happened with Robinhood, and even in its. And that's-
There's an argument against PayPal though, right? Which is Square Cash App. If you look at the volume that Square is doing, I mean, people don't realize, but Square has 93 million downloads. Like the Cash App. Cash App has 93 million, roughly 90 million downloads. But if you look at the volume that's coming in Bitcoin from Cash App, it's not like astronomical. And I think PayPal is going to be like similar in terms of, how users respond to Bitcoin. It's going to be great for visibility. But
Would you think it's going to be low numbers?
Would you throw them in the category though of like a top 5 on ramp?
Who? PayPal?
Cash App. In terms of how
I don't know the data there, but I do know that like the amount of volume that they're doing in Bitcoin is not as high as you would think, given they have like 90 million.
Yeah, but as an individual entity, it's still like one of the highest. That's what I'm saying.
I think it's probably up there. Yeah.
So like even if we have another one of those, I think that's really good, and I think it obviously it's good, but I think even with that's huge.
All in.
Yeah, you
Chris,
had.
I agree with you.
It's about
good.
pot.
I don't think it's like earth-shattering. But
He's fluffing with the best hand.
You had 300. I think there was 400 in the pot. Just a little pot-sized bet.
Yeah, didn't make it look that way, Luke. It's all about intimidation with you, I guess.
A record game of buy-ins.
More money at the table.
Oh my God, the flush got there.
Wow. A little bit of a slow roll there.
I'm glad you called me in.
Jeez.
Second night.
That was
disgusting.
You didn't even have
That's
to
not
start
too
that
fair
out,
with
Crystal. You had it.
What were you thinking
Shocked that
about?
he called me all in.
Crystal wasn't thinking about it.
Oh my God,
That's a
diamonds.
call every time.
I like to do it proactively on my own.
All right.
I can share this picture of Luke in my pocket around. We can all start using it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have real plants. This is not.
Look at today, so.
I have some
Is that a
live.
back
That's what it feels
or is
like.
that real?
These are real live plants providing me with oxygen.
Come on, Peter, let me win a pot.
Okay.
That's probably your 5. Huh? God damn it.
All right, man.
Does the map help with your poker tells? Like we can't see if you're bluffing. It's hidden.
Damn it, Peter.
Chet, do you have a lot of
Oh.
bad luck with you right now?
Ah, you
Sorry, yeah.
lucky mother.
Hey, Peter, you got lucky it wasn't a 10 on the river, okay?
Ah, fucking hell. Ed.
Now, Crystal, to answer your question, I'm just doing you a favor. You don't want to see what's going on here. Trust me.
It's not Movember yet.
Right? No, it's not good. I'll just tell you it's not good. But
I don't know. I kind of want to embrace mask culture for poker. I think it's a good
Yeah.
idea. The glasses and the masks, you're totally concealed. I think it's a good
Well, it
strategy.
will be the in-person mask culture in poker will be masks. You know,
100%.
totally.
I don't necessarily believe you have the ace, but I also don't have a hand.
So, Eddie, you seen a big uptick the last couple of weeks on Blockfolio and the amount of times people open up the app and stuff like that?
It's been surprisingly a little bit steady. It's probably going to uptick today. Like we're like more correlated. I mean, I think. Well, yeah, that was kind of weird. We didn't see like a huge uptick. Normally we do when we see the alts going up, which led us to believe there wasn't like maybe there wasn't new money coming in. You know, like it's kind of strange that all the alts were going bonkers and people weren't opening up their Blockfolio that much more.
That is interesting. That is a telling story, that's for sure.
Like when Bitcoin went up to like 14,000 the other time, like our DAEs went up like 50% in like 2 days. We went from like 250,000 to like 375,000. You know. But this time around, it's been, I don't know, it's been grinding up a little bit, but we haven't had seen like a huge spike yet. I'm hoping it happens when we break 10,500 though.
What's crazy is that Bitcoin's at 50% of all-time high. That's what's nuts, and it's just been like hanging here.
Right.
That's what's crazy.
You think it should be lower, or what's crazy?
Well, what's crazy is like, it's not. It's like super easy to see it pump into like 50,000 pretty quick. You know what I mean? Like, because to even think about just hanging out in the 10,000 range for an extended period of time, that's like a huge feat in itself. You know?
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, this is like the lowest vol we've seen since 2016.
It's a stable coin for the past month and a half or so, like 92, 9,300.
I'm ready for the Bitcoin to act like a shitcoin again.
He'll have his day. The king always does. The king always does.
Jeez. 2 uncontested pots? Come on.
Cheers, guys. Cheers. Anybody having a drink?
Yes.
I already drank my sangria.
Cheers.
Chris, you ever been to Aveling Brewery on Queen Street East?
I haven't, no.
It's my hood.
Is it
That's
the
what
brewery?
That's good. It opened up about a year ago.
It must be getting rocked right now.
All those places, they're selling out all the breweries. They're just crushing it.
Yeah, are they?
Everyone goes and buys beer. They don't sit down, so they don't really need staff. They just buy beer, take it home, and drink. I think breweries are doing really well.
That's interesting. I really thought about it.
Except they're not able to sell to bars, so all that draft beer and stuff, that hurts them.
Do we have a side bet for 7-2 tonight?
It's not live.
yeah?
tonight. It's not live, but we should do one. I feel like it's time to do that. Whoever agrees to it though has to manage the action.
Also, are you doing family pot on the hour? That was a kind
Yeah,
of
we could.
fun
Yeah.
experience last time.
Yeah, so we're gonna do that, and we'll do a couple flips throughout the night.
Oh, that's a good bet.
So are we doing it with the straddle, or we'll have to make sure to turn straddle off if
Yeah, when we do it.
that.
These are great hands.
I've gotten total garbage tonight so far. I'll tell you that.
Did anyone else get kicked out of Zoom just now?
Fold.
Or was it just me?
Just you.
Do you have it, Mike?
An ace? No.
What'd you have?
I had a little air ball.
No
I
pair.
didn't have an ace. I didn't have an ace. I had a pair, but
Yeah, well, I was like, you would lead turns if you have an ace there.
yeah,
Pete, what was your pair? I had one too. I had to let it go.
I don't think.
Yeah, I saw Luke like wince over there.
I don't think I want to.
It was because I knew. I mean, I knew I could get it in, but it was like, do I really want to play for stacks on sevens?
Well, I mean, stacks. That's pretty generous for what you're sitting on.
It is. Dude, it is.
I felt like you bet that like you were bluffing it, having it. Like it looked like
on levels I don't even know exist.
it looked like a fake bluff. It looked like I've
A
got
value
it,
bluff?
I'm gonna make it. Yeah, it's like I'm gonna make you think I'm bluffing this, but I've got it. I don't. You didn't have something like a queen, king, or something. I think you had the ace.
Good read.
Yeah, I think you had the ace.
I already learned my lesson trying to call value bluffs off Bobby.
Funny because I don't see like a dollar sign next to our chips. I'm like, yep, just go for it. Get creative.
It's just numbers. Just numbers. What's always interesting with Bitcoin poker is that whatever we win and lose today, imagine 5 years down the road when the prices go up 10 times, 50 times, and we'll look back, oh my gosh, I much in one hand. All right, so much.
My buddy sent me a screenshot. It was on Seals with Clubs that Bitcoin
yeah.
poker sent back in the day.
Yeah. Seals.
Like I won a 13 Bitcoin pot, and back then it was like not that much money.
Wow.
I think Bitcoin at the time might have been like $400.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can dig up that picture. That'd be nice to share.
It's gonna be crazy, and that's why I'm happy, Bobby, that we're recording it, because that's even the better part. You know what I mean? You can look back at the whole vibe. That's what's cool about it too.
Speaking of, what's the tax treatment for our winnings here?
We're playing with play chips, so
That's where you live.
These are strictly play chips. The disclaimer of the hour. These have no implications on taxes in any regard.
Unless you start taxing play chips.
In Canada, there's no tax on gambling.
for real.
Yep.
Look, if Faded Spades offers money games, then I'm all about it. But this is fake money. Wait, what is? Does Canada classify crypto then as gambling? Does that fit in there?
Yeah.
That would be a good argument to make.
Binance, no tax.
Whoa.
Thank you.
Oh, baby! Oh, baby! Let's go!
Wow.
It sucks to be
Let's
rivered.
go. Tough river, Pete.
Okay.
River to pair.
One of those nights, is it?
The
You
thing
know
about-
what? I had to call that. It was only 300 in, and it was like,
I think you will obviously beat them.
if I had a lot of chips and that was a big all-in, I would have folded, but it just didn't make sense for me to fold.
No. Still. That's a catch.
Big time.
Very angry inside right now.
You might have to.
I created that angle for you.
Right, let's put some more chips in.
Speaking of Canada and taxes, I don't know if you guys read about this, but I'll give you a perspective. So in Canada, we've had a really bad run of reputable exchanges, crypto exchanges over the years, probably the last 4 or 5 years. Everyone's obviously heard of Quadriga and what happened there. We had another big one in Vancouver, and then most of the exchanges were just not professional in any regard. Then we had an exchange a few years ago, maybe like right 2016, early 17, that raised like 50 million bucks and got some good investors from base like our Wall Street, and they started building their business and whatever. And they always kind of had this pristine, like Coinbase-ish of Canada vibe. So then just today, the equivalent of the SEC in Canada threw a huge fine and made the CEO and like financial controller and executives leave the company and fine them like $1 million each for inflating and wash trading like up to 90% of their volume for like 2.5 years. And then they had one of the traders leave and become a whistleblower and told them everything.
The trader told them not to. They said, "Hey, we shouldn't be doing this, CEO." And he's like, "Okay, you're fired."
Yeah, he's like, "You're out." And then he's like, it just told them what's up.
Wow.
Anyways, so they're pretty much, in the shitter now, and that's all going down here. So it's nuts. And Chris, you know the whole thing, right?
Do you have
know
money in there?
I know all those guys. No, I've never used their exchange. I thought it was terrible.
What's the name of it? The one that you're talking about?
Coin Square.
And do you guys have money on there?
No.
What do you got, Lou? What are you chasing?
They're not.
So as
Chasing
someone-
flush. Nothing there.
Ugh.
So basically, as someone, I don't know how long you here have run exchanges, but as someone who's run a Bitcoin exchange, I can tell you it's a sucky business.
Yeah, I can imagine. What makes it so sucky, Bobby?
Well, you can do no right, basically. Like basically, exchanges around are generally speaking, they're under-regulated. And what that means is competitors who will really, go past the red line, and it forces you to be competitive. You have to cross the red line as well if you want to be competitive, or if you stay behind the red line, so it's really sad dynamic.
The one exchange that was good in Canada back in 2014, I don't know, Chris, if you know this one, was called Vault of Satoshi. And they used to do like proof of reserves and stuff way back then. The founders decided that doing a Netflix VPN business was better than running a crypto exchange. So they just shut down shop and ran a Netflix VPN service, which was sad because I actually quite liked that exchange.
I like when you show the hands. It's nice.
Yeah, like I tend to show my hands quite a bit, but it loosens up the game, makes it more fun in my opinion.
Do you have to turn that on every time? I don't think I get the muck option again.
Well, if you want, then go to the lobby and go under options and table settings, and then unclick the box that says auto muck.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah, Cheds, I don't know if you knew that, but you can show your cards if you just do what I said.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, man.
No problem, man.
I'll wait till I have something I'm not embarrassed to show you.
Okay.
Only show us those ones.
Then.
Yes.
Flash anyone?
So, Cheds, what have you been doing in the crypto space the last few years?
I've just been studying TA. I started out with Japanese candles and really kind of felt like I had a pretty good grip on that. And now I've been learning like classical charting, like Western TA. So I've been trying to, I'm no good with FA. I can't explain like the blockchain or anything, but like social psychology and just price action and just like, TA. I'm kind of a chart guy, nerd, I guess. And so I've just been networking and trying to get more comfortable and work, looking at charts, working on muscle memory, kind of doing that thing.
Gotcha. So what are the charts telling you then? The next 3 or 6 months?
3 or 6 months. Well, I mean, even though like the daily chart with the Bollingers being really tight, this tight, I mean, I think the most since 2018, we're expecting an explosive move, and we can see kind of a temporary uptrend break kind of since that March bottom and then that recent peak. But like in the weekly chart, we're still trading in the upper part of the channel near, between the close to that upper Bollinger Band, still pretty bullish. You could even make an argument like on the weekly for like a bull pennant here, as well as on the monthly. So I think the bulls still have a great long-term argument, like the 200 MA that a lot of people watch. Still showing it's a bull trend right now. It's just a question of will we correct, pull back to support, will we test support? But I've generally think bulls have a nice little edge here.
So we're starting a bull run, the beginning of a massive bull.
Is that my quote?
Financial advice from Cheds.
Is that your
That's
quote?
right.
This is live.
That's
This is
it.
live.
No, I've been saying that. I actually was expecting it to pull back more to like 83, 8400, like the daily 200 moving average. I'm just curious to see if there's any legs on the pump today. I don't know if it's like news driven or what's going on with all this like headline stuff with like the custody and whatever else is going on. So you just got to kind of see where it goes. I've been daily bearish, but weekly bullish. I don't know if that kind of makes any sense. So I'm still kind of in that range.
Well, Luke, how does that compare to what you're seeing? Like, I know you trade. A lot of that was foreign to me, but.
I don't know. I really like ETH. Like I've been holding ETH now for a week or two, just wondering why it hasn't gone up with DeFi, but I think money will slowly rotate back into it. I mean, it's just people that want to invest in the hype right now that don't understand DEXs or don't want to go through those hurdles. Eventually want to participate, and I think they buy ETH as a proxy to get invested. I don't really have an opinion on Bitcoin. If I throw money at it right now, it'd be 50-50. So I'm not playing Bitcoin.
You know what's interesting about that, the whole DEX and like yield farming experience? It's very reminiscent of that of like when you first started using like Ether Delta and shit along those lines back in like 17.
Yeah.
It has that vibe. And you just think about all the new people that eventually going to start coming in the space, and they're going to be experiencing this and just kind of looking at it being like, this is all weird, whatever.
Ether Delta didn't end so well.
No. I think I met those dudes out in Hong Kong. Didn't they get hacked?
No, they got sued by the SEC, and the founder got charged. And
I think they actually did get hacked before before being charged. They either got hacked or they sold it to someone, and then eventually like had a hostile take back over. Like they sold it to someone, and that guy was basically just robbing people, like stealing every deposit and things like that. It's kind of wild. Their Twitter got hacked as well.
I remember something happened because I met the guy. I'm sure I met the guy out in Hong Kong.
They sold their Twitter too. Something happened with their Twitter, but yeah, it wasn't good on a lot of fronts.
Luke, do you think there's much in the story that we won't see like an explosive instant hit to like 50K with something like Bitcoin because it would suit whales to bring new people into the market? Sort of gradual rise, gets PR.
No, I don't think there's that much coordination. And I just don't like, I think a pop to 50K is the only reason it's unlikely is because it just falls very far away from like the distribution scale of returns. Like we just don't have many 800% daily returns. But it's I think like the best. I think someone who's done probably the best description or the best explaining of what could be happening with Bitcoin right now is Kyle Davies. He works with Suju over at Three Arrows Capital, and they have a massive position in Grayscale's funds. I think they have own 6% of that of the Bitcoin trust. They play around with a pretty big stack, and he was talking about the reason that Bitcoin action has been really muted lately has to do with how the options game has changed and how much option sellers are controlling volatility. So basically it's people earning yield now by selling those options. Then they any way Bitcoin pops, they just revert it. And then once their options are up, then they kind of let retail take the flow. I think him and Sue probably have the best understanding of what's happening, and that's because they're in that circle of holding that many coins. I don't think it has anything to do with whale coordination. I think there's very little coordination on that front. Basing that off talking with Sam, who runs FTX, and those guys. I think they're as in the dark as everyone. Maybe no more, but as in the dark as everyone else.
What?
Can't fold it.
Hey, Chris, you're muted, man. Spotify.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep.
I was just saying, Luke's seen a lot of action.
I know. I mean, I'm prepared to let it go all the way 3 times.
There it is.
Oh my god.
See how quick that changed.
I'm prepared, but I didn't want to. And I've been talking. I'm talking to Peter this hand, and I don't fucking know.
Time bank
Oh my god, dude. I have ace jack.
Luke
I just
is so calling. He's so calling.
That's so great.
It's just disgusting.
Brutal, Luke.
I've seen Mike not play 2 hands. One time Jack 9 when there's 3 aces in the board. The other time he doesn't have a pair when ace is hit.
You think your king's good, Luke?
I have ace jack.
Oh, Luke's definitely calling kings.
I snap call kings. I just haven't even been watching.
I like how fast that sentiment changed. From I'm ready to call in an instant to give me time back. I need to use the whole thing.
All right, if I lose this, my worst week on the show, but finally.
Yes, good call.
My
Oh,
God,
baby.
dude.
Huge call. Well,
I mean, I made the decision on the turn. I can't really fold it. If I fold there, I'm kind of throwing away money, even if he has it.
Mike, you must have been losing it there. Sitting there, we're all talking, and you're sitting on a full bluff. No wonder you're on mute.
It happens.
I know Luke's calling that one.
Fuck.
I know Luke.
Whew.
You would have got most people off that
I
hand.
get through a jack. It was 6:30.
I would have folded there. I would have folded there.
I just don't think you're that excited to be throwing around money, even if you have a king. What are you? I guess ace king, you'd be excited about it. King queen, you'd be excited about it.
I thought I was valuing.
That right there, that's the value bluff.
Yeah.
Ace high. It did make me think. If I wasn't on my second buy-in, I would have snap called it, but it made me think.
So, Crystal, what did it entail this week to go into the jungle?
I had a really amazing experience. I actually slept underneath a 20-foot chestahedron, which is the sacred geometrical symbol for the heart, but also the logo for EOS, if you're familiar with that symbol. This structure that's in the jungle that is being turned into a parrot cage. So it was donated from Burning Man to the jungle. I'm going to say a lot of words that like don't relate at all to anything, but it's kind of an interesting story. But because of the Integro Foundation, which actually next week's charity poker tournament, which I hope you are all a part of, because that means I get to see you at the final table next week.
Well, let's take a break for that for a second. So
Yeah.
This is a PSA moment. Everyone here, I pretty much talked to about it, but next Wednesday we're doing the 5th crypto charity poker tournament, and the money that we raise is going to go to the Integro Foundation, and specifically their Feeding Puerto Rico initiative. But it sounds like, Crystal, you did some work this week with Integro.
Yeah, so Integro has been working for the last few months to help the endangered Puerto Rican parrot, which is an amazing parrot. They used to have millions of them around Puerto Rico. They're down to under 200 of them. So this conservatory has a spot in the jungle. They've been rehabilitating them, and because of our donation, they've been able to hook them up with radio collars. So they invited me out. It was a very small group of people, like 10 of us total, including all of the people that work there, to release them into the wild. So I got to hang out in some camo and watch
Nice.
these amazing birds get released. Totally, off the grid, which was nice. Just being away from Twitter, having real birds tweeting was really great.
Real birds, yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was awesome. And we have these amazing steel structures that were made in the chestahedron that are out there now. One of them to be turned into a cage. So it's kind of crypto related. You have some crypto iconography out there in the middle of the jungle.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Was it weather nice? Did you guys get any rain, or what was the weather like?
It was a new moon, so we could see every star. We saw Jupiter and Saturn. You could see the entire Milky Way. I mean, it's incredibly beautiful. I hope that everyone gets a chance to visit Puerto Rico at some point, or any of the Caribbean islands. Really, it's so beautiful out here. I'm feeling super fortunate to be here during crazy quarantine times. It feels a lot more safe.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. I've been living on the beach for like 2.5 months, so.
Yeah, it's nuts, but people are legitimately going hungry as well, and that's another big project that we're working on, is raising funds, and that's what the charity poker initiative is about. And you guys have done so much great work. Like Chris, you've done amazing things with charity poker, with Binance and with the COVID relief efforts. Like, just the attention that's been brought to these charities is amazing. And all we have to do is play cards.
That's it. The whole thing around that too, it's like everyone looks at crypto and says, oh, it's so bad, it's drug dealers and money line, like all this type of shit. And crypto can be used for good, big time. And that's what a lot of people need to know too.
Yeah, there are a lot of great charities that are crypto focused. It's especially good for micro donations, as long as the people can figure out how to use it. You have to give them something that they can actionably use.
Mm-hmm.
You mean like pay me 1,000, I'll pay you back 2,000?
Yeah, exactly. No, like microloans. If they need $100 or $200, there's a lot of good initiatives out there. Also,
so Bob, you said you didn't understand DeFi, but it sounds like I guess you understood that.
So that was DeFi. Now I get it.
So you got it. You hit it right on the head. Like I
Barack
couldn't
and Elon
have
Musk
said it better
and Bill
myself.
Gates. That's right. So I'm behind the times. Barack, Bill Gates, and Elon all get it. That was DeFi. Great.
Oh man, I mean, if
Oh,
it
no,
were,
you're
Baby.
Whoa.
wow,
Wow.
That's what I like to see.
Man. Oh, that hurt. That hurt.
That remind me of that hand that we played last week or the week before, Chris.
Yeah, true. I got you on the river.
You're
one.
king.
So Chris, that made up for last week. That kind of action and
Little actually, yeah, I definitely lot much more this week than I have in like the last 2 weeks combined.
I do charity poker like every 2 weeks when I come to play this game. I gotta see you guys.
And you're our biggest donor, Ed. Ed's by far our biggest donor. We got to put you at
I
the
like tournament style though. I think everybody here would be really good at tournament style. Like you're, pretty ruthless. People are more protective of their chips when they can't rebuy.
Didn't we call it Ed farming a couple weeks ago?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
But then everyone will be like, "Oh,
I heard that, Luke.
Yeah, Ed farming.
You want to rebuy tournaments?
Ed farming?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Some people yield farm. We Ed farm.
Give it up before it's too late.
What site's the tournament on this week? I know we switched off the previous one.
We're gonna do it on Faded Spade.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah. So
Tournament
it's
style.
gonna be for everybody.
That'd be great too. No VPN. It'd be smooth.
Yeah.
All right. See? Easy game.
There it is.
You're on a roll. You started this off telling us how you weren't happy with last week.
That's right. When you're catching cards, it's good. So we missed the top of the hour. So I think what's a good way to spice it up, we'll do a $50 flip the next hand, okay? So whoever's first to act raises to 50, and then everyone just calls, and we'll check all the way down to the river.
Yeah,
Ooh, that's my big blind, man. That's good timing.
Perfect timing. There it is.
I have straddle on, just in all
straddle. Take straddle off, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it won't matter.
I mean, I'm just saying, like on this game, I'm keeping on straddle just for the.
Yeah, I do that every week, Crystal. That's the play. Put a little pressure on other people.
That's the only way that I'm gonna win with the 7-2.
Fair enough.
What's the deal? 50?
Yeah,
Was
50.
it me raised to 50?
Correct.
So everybody plays 50.
Yeah, and we're just gonna check it all the way
Ed,
down.
you're sitting out.
Oh, it's all the way down. It's checked all the way down.
Ed, you're sitting out, Ed.
Didn't want to donate.
Oh, I accidentally timed out. I didn't mean to.
Well,
I'll be back.
It's all right.
Oh, so my straddle was in effect anyways, based on that.
Basically. Oh, I need some help
Right,
here.
So we have to check it down.
Check it
I
down.
got an up and down straight draw.
Check it down. I think everyone's in a straight draw.
Let's get a
I got 10-8.
This is a donation.
10 of clubs.
There it
Oh,
is.
there it is.
Oh, Chris, we're splitting then. Well, someone could have an ace.
I had a 2-pair counterfeited here.
I have a boat draw. Queen or jack.
Come on, pair the board.
Queen or jack.
Jack.
Just
you
give us a
can-
2. Just give us a
Oh,
2.
Put a 9 out there.
Just a 2. Here we
There.
go.
Oh,
Chris, we'll
missed.
split that.
I'm okay with
Completely
that.
missed.
You had a 10-8 as well, suited or no?
3-10.
Gotcha.
Enjoy the donation.
Hey, Mike, put that into the Zoom chat, buddy. Don't send on Telegram, just so it's easier to track for me. I'll take it.
Oh, I took the straddle off for that, but I had it on, then I took it off.
So did everybody see some of the stuff that Visa put out there today? Anybody read about that?
No.
Nah. What's that?
Yeah.
So I would argue it's probably their most forward, outward piece of content about them supporting cryptocurrencies and some of the
Can you give
companies.
us a link?
Pardon?
Can you give us a link?
The link's there. You can take a look at the link I sent you.
Okay.
But they call out a lot of companies like Coinbase and so forth. But it's really kind of talking to their commitment. And then MasterCard just a few days ago announced their level of support for crypto and some of the companies that they're backing as well. So it's just interesting to see them starting to really make that change, because that's been a big barrier for a long time as well. You know?
Chris, where was the link? I didn't see the link.
I sent it via email, but I can get it for you.
I got it right now. I'll pass it
It's
in,
one of-
Chris.
Yeah.
It's in the chat.
Yeah, and they're pretty much saying, like, you know, we're going to be rocking and rolling. Like, we're going to try and build business around this. We think there's a lot of potential here.
So they should buy BitPay.
Yeah, great target. BitPay has been just a quiet, you know, behemoth doing their thing. I don't know much about what goes on in the background there, but I've been impressed outwards looking in. That's for sure.
Yeah, what up?
Oh, what up, dude? You leave my bunker?
Yeah.
Word.
It keeps mentioning CDBC.
Mm-hmm. Because if I'm Visa or MasterCard, when central banks release their own currency, of course they're going to support it.
Yeah, but
Right.
then why even mention it? It's not. I think it's a no-op, right? It's like if a U.S. I guess
The benefits there is that they're looking at the technology, right? The simple fact that it's a digital version of money is such a leap forward. You know?
Yeah. I mean,
You know,
central
some-
clearing. I mean, I beg to differ a little bit. I think CDBC doesn't bring much. I mean, it brings a little bit new to the table. To me, it's only slightly better than polymer notes compared to paper notes. A little bit, but that's how I see it. It's like you know how it should be paper, and now they're polymer in many cases. So I think that, you know,
I would
polymer
disagree
notes are
with
better.
that. Yeah, I would disagree with that, because the way you manage it is different. The way you manage money is different. Like the same way you would take a bill and put it in your wallet and use it when you would need to buy something. That's the same experience, but this is very different. Right?
But it doesn't. I know it's different. I recognize that CDBC is different and slightly better, more featureful than traditional cash going through the banking system, either electronic cash or physical coins and notes. But in the end, CDBC, it's not like they call it revolutionary, but to me, it's not truly to the next step that Bitcoin.
So if it's just a minor step,
Yeah.
do you see the major step like a new financial system? Is that
Well,
the big?
we're in that new major step, which is Bitcoin. We're now living in the world where there's a dual system. I mean, the second system is much smaller in size and comparative size, but we now actually have a legitimate second system that we can use, which is the Bitcoin decentralized system. And the total value of that is, what is it, 200, whatever, however many $100 billion compared to, you know, $100 trillion for system one, right? So we're living in a dual system now. There's system one, which is a traditional money system, and there's system two, which is the decentralized, fully public, you know, non-reversible, blockchain-based, proof of work-based Bitcoin system, and whatever things you want to add to it, whether it's Ethereum, XRP, or.
No, you don't want to add anything to it. Just leave it at Bitcoin.
Okay, well, leave it at Bitcoin then. That's fine. So my point is, for the first time in human history, you know, we're 10 years into this system. That's pretty cool. Whereas what does CDBC does? It's just, you know, it's just another PayPal, Venmo, Alipay kind of thing.
I have no idea why it exists.
What's that?
CDBC.
Yeah.
I think it's hype. I think it's people who are at the governments. They want to keep their jobs. They want to sound innovative and get a promotion at the year end.
But what is
And
it?
there's, oh yeah, let's borrow from that blockchain technology.
digital
and
money.
what do they
That's
call it?
what
It's
it
a
is.
permissioned
money
ledger.
the same way, but digital. That's what it is.
But
So
it's
so
no
why-
different.
why
Chris.
have it?
It's not very different than
I don't see.
than Alipay, PayPal, Venmo. The only difference is who's the boss. The boss is now the central bank versus Venmo and PayPal.
Is it immutable?
No.
It's not
Then there's
immutable.
then there's no reason
Exactly.
for it to exist. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, I agree with you, Peter. I think it's a small improvement.
No, it's nothing. It's just.
And by the way, the improvement is from the government's perspective. From a privacy and a human liberty perspective, it's actually a step back. People don't often talk about.
Yeah, I agree with
From
that.
a privacy and liberty, it's a step back. It's like
transparent.
now my money that's in my wallet, where I can actually physically control now, and I'm only losing out to inflation. Whereas with CDBC, my money in my app can actually be blacklisted and be rendered, used at a whim's notice with system. I'm not innocent until proven guilty. I could be judged and be blacklisted completely.
Yep.
That's a step backwards for
That's a scary
civil
thing.
liberties.
That's a scary thing.
It's a very scary thing.
Hmm.
The powers that be are taking even more power.
Luke can't just be, fun and
Luke,
almost family
All right.
pot.
this is my donation to you.
Jack it
This
up.
is I'm giving you $20 so that you can call my line. Okay,
That's fair.
Luke, my hand
this
has
contribution.
Luke, my hand has a lot of bad beat potential, so I'm gonna call.
All right. Respect.
I like that 10-9 suited. That's
I
great.
like that bad beat potential. I like that bad potential.
I'll use the money and buy central bank digital currency.
There you go.
And Ed also has a late position. You better cover up massively. Cover your nose up too.
Get your mask going here.
Oh man, I can't do it. I've never been able to wear sunglasses or anything like that.
You're
Well, here's
literally
a bad
wearing
beat.
glasses.
What'd you say?
You're literally wearing glasses, dude.
Yeah, but a sunglass is different. Here it comes, bad beat.
Here it comes. Oh
Beat.
yes. Oh
All right, bad beat time.
oh.
See, I was looking for that 4.
Yeah. God, that would have been fucked.
What did I have? What did I have?
I thought there was a
that
chance you had jacks. Otherwise, I would have shoved.
hand? I had that hand. I had what was the?
Oh man, Ed, if you would have caught the 4 there, that would have been the dagger.
Would have been glorious.
It would have been
All-
glorious.
Would you have
It's
called
not
it
even
all in?
suited, though.
Luke?
It's not even a suited. This
I
is
probably
bad beat
would have.
potential, offsuit.
So how would it play out? So Ed would. So if a 4 came out, Luke would bet, and then Ed would raise it to.
I'm all
Right.
in at that point, right?
Yeah, Ed's all in.
Right, yeah.
No,
Oh,
but
yeah,
Luke
like
would bet first, right?
1,000 pips left.
You would
I'm
bet
not-
first, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I'm not
I mean,
sure.
mathematically, my play is an atrocity, right? But it was still been so enjoyable. Like, I was calling for like the bad beat implied odds.
You got.
I'm just not taking notes, Ed. I don't know if you knew that, but yeah, those. Yeah, I'm not gonna call for those type of odds.
Of course not. But the bad beat is mathematically the bad beat is worth some amount of money, right? The enjoyment you get from it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's valuable. That's
The enjoyment is worth more than the chips sometimes.
I'll tell you that 8 I caught on Peter early. I know he's been quiet since and he's devastated, but that 8 that I caught, felt fantastic. I'm not gonna lie.
See, I would never feel good about that.
Yeah. Some people pay money for drugs. I pay money for bad beat.
Pete, you put my head in your
I like
pocket.
that, I like that.
Get out of
I
here.
know you
Get the hell
literally
out of
have
here.
your head in your
You're the
pocket.
You're
Like,
the
it
biggest
doesn't
troll
get
of all
worse
time.
than that. It's
Because that's where
ultra
you live,
troll.
Luke.
That's your home, Luke.
Oh man.
That's funny.
That's
So Pete, you been getting no cards over there? You've been pretty quiet.
Oh, I've been getting great cards. People just been getting lucky.
Well,
What,
Yeah.
Pete? What were you doing just what were you doing just there to Luke's face?
I was just rubbing his head. See, he's okay.
I was just patting him,
He's okay.
like good doggy, good in the pocket.
In fairness, I think the whole time we've been playing, that's the first one of those I've been through, and you usually get a few, right? Like in 9-10 weeks, you'd expect a few. I think that's the first river bad beat like that I've had.
usually do get a few, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's time
I've
you
had
start
a
running
few-
bed.
I've
Yeah,
had
no,
a
I
few of
agree.
my own.
I think it's about time. Yep. Can you guys hear the bugs in the background?
I hear my frogs in the background. I don't know if you can hear that.
I got bugs there too.
Frogs and birds.
What kind of frogs?
Koki.
Chris, do the birds come inside? Didn't you have a bird inside a week or two ago?
I have a bird that is not the endangered Puerto Rican parrot, but it is
Good confirmation. Good confirmation. Yep.
it is a rescue bird. I was not allowed to set her free, so she's still here, but she's a distraction, so she's sleeping.
Well, when she's there, you don't win. Is that what happens?
No, she's actually pretty fun, but birds are really smart. Yeah, she's a destroyer of things.
Hey, Mike, you've
Whoa.
been quiet there. You finished dinner or what?
He's on mute.
Of course, Ed calls 5'6" offsuit.
Oh.
Classic.
Why
You're
you were-
making it harder.
No, he's better hand. 6'7" suited. It's not 5'6" offsuit. It's 6'7" suited now.
No, dude. If I had 6'7" suited, if I had 6'7" suited, I would believe
I
that.
didn't call that. I was about to call that. I thought about it.
That's aggressive.
Mike didn't like that needle, asking him
Mike,
where he's been.
Are you eating your dinner? What are you having for dinner? Take us off.
Shitty Chinese takeout.
What dish?
I was deciding between nice Chinese takeout and then shitty Chinese takeout, and then Luke made a legendary call against me, so
I like. So which dish? What did you get? Like, what's the actual dish? The shitty Chinese shit takeout.
spicy tofu, beef broccoli, everything.
Show it, Mike. Show it.
Show it. Show it.
2-7.
Ace Jack offsuit. No, show the cards.
I don't want to see your food, Mike. I don't know about the cards. I don't want to see your food. Holy.
It was a little Jack 10 off.
We're still playing poker here. I don't know if you knew
I'm just
that.
gonna go all in pre-flop every time now.
I had pocket twos I folded there for you.
You had twos?
Horrible hand, anyways. You can always fold it.
You
Twos are
know,
no
I
good.
was
Twos are
looking
no
at like 500, an extra 500 into 1,000. It's like, eh.
I can't believe you raised so much on a low pocket pair. I mean, I can believe.
Well, there's a lot of players in the pot. Spice it up a bit. I do have the most chips, so I got to play like I have the most chips as well.
Right.
That is a good point. That's the job of a captain.
hmm
You got to play the part.
So, Mike, I have a question for you. What specific narrative or thing in the crypto space is the block sniffing around on? Like, what's kind of like a couple of those outside of DeFi or whatever? Like, is that just totally dominating all your journalism and everything you're working on?
Spill the juiciest stuff. Come on.
So honestly, we're looking for more journalists. So if any of you guys have suggestions, like please let us know. We're always like looking for top tier talent. I think we've been covering like the open finance space like pretty aggressively from both like the researcher side and the journalist side. But that's just like where the demand is content wise. I mean, so many of our different research members are like trying to figure everything out. Like people that sit kind of, quote, outside of the crypto space, like are also interested. Everyone's trying to optimize, especially in this environment. You'll probably see more of that.
That really didn't satisfy my question for me. I really that was a roundabout way of telling me not much.
Yeah.
So
Well, candidly, I'm like pretty outside of like the editorial process.
yeah.
I like to be. See if I can get Luke off his hand.
It's usually what you say when you flop trips. So I guess I'll call.
All right.
Any of you investors in Tesla stock?
I'm not. No.
I wish. I don't own any Tesla.
Are you, Bobby?
Yeah, it popped up after earnings today.
I read that. I kept up with that at least.
So they're thinking it's going to get added to S&P 500 index.
There we go.
Dude,
It's an act.
Oh my goodness!
how many times
Straight
can the
flush.
fucking
Dude, that's
flush
a huge,
come?
That's a huge chance. It's a straight flush.
It's not a straight
Straight
flush at all.
flush?
Oh, that wasn't
flush.
it. The 8 got
Biggest
there.
hand ever.
God.
Straight flush.
That's a straight
Straight
flush.
flush.
Wow. You should get the bonus.
I think
Well,
I'm
it's
gonna
not
order
royal,
Chinese
but it's pretty
food.
good.
Seems to be working.
Yeah, beef broccoli.
Sorry, Luke.
How many times
gonna
can
get-
the river flush come, Mike? It's all good. I respect it. God, it's brutal.
So, Mike, did you realize it was a straight flush? That was a real straight flush.
I just knew Luke
That wasn't fake. That was real.
Wow.
That was the first straight flush I think we've seen in 12 weeks. I'm actually surprised that we've had 12 weeks worth of games in a row. That's a pretty big feat here.
Mike, where are you in the world that Chinese food actually delivers? Because that's not everywhere, including here.
Well, let her guess. I think you can guess it. Take a go. All right.
China.
What? New York?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna opt for the tofu. I'm just dreaming of Chinese food ordering one day. Hasn't happened here. We're in lockdown. We've had curfew since March.
There's no food delivery.
There's some, but not where I am. I'm in a reserve, which is the reason I chose to be here is because it has a private beach and jungle, so you don't get a ticket or cops or craziness for going outside.
It's a trade-off, right? It's worth it
Yeah.
though.
They're giving $3,000 tickets if you walk on the public beaches. So I'm on a private beach, and yeah,
Wow.
it's a trade-off. I'll take that, and I'll wait on the Chinese food until later.
Or cook your own Chinese food.
Mm-hmm.
Through that, I have started to do fried rice a lot, and I love it. I'm a plant-based flexitarian, so I opt for the tofu.
We had a good curry tonight. We haven't had curry forever. We're craving it, so we made it.
If anybody wants to open an Indian restaurant in Puerto Rico, curry would be very appreciated. Thai, Indian, pick your flavor.
Time banks on, Pete.
That's not a bluff because you had 2 people behind you.
Oh, good analysis. What else?
Tell us more,
Behind
Pete.
you.
Yeah, tell us more of your thinking process.
I know you've been working with your poker coach a lot. That's why you took last week off. You had a full 3-hour session.
You know what, last week was the first week. What have you got? You got the 9.
I think it's a 5. Or maybe a pocket 10.
Just get it in. Come on.
Yeah, just push it in.
No, you got something. This time you
Oh,
definitely got
good
something.
fold. Good fold.
Hmm.
All right, Mike, give us the play-by-play.
don't know if it's a 9. I think you might have like
Yeah.
10-10.
I think it's pocket 10, pocket jacks. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
You think I just call with those hands?
You don't call with pocket 10s and pocket jacks with 2 behind you because you want to get rid of them. You don't bluff with 2 behind you there.
Would you have beat
Ace,
9?
ace 9.
That's 7-2, of course. Last week was the first.
Maybe
'cause
had ace
usually,
9.
usually I set my alarm and get a couple of hours sleep before we played. I did set my alarm last week, so it was the first time I just like I had a little nap and I woke up and it was like 5 in the morning. I was like, "Fuck."
Must have felt nice. You're like, wow, this is what it's like on a Friday morning. This is great.
No, I was like, "Fuck." I can't wake up and tell my daughter I won $3,000.
Was she devastated? You didn't take her shopping that day, or
No.
your classic
You know what?
Friday shop?
No, last week she's like every other week she stays with me one week and the other week she's with Satan. So she didn't even think to tell me. But tomorrow morning I'm gonna be like, this motherfucker Chris called me with a 10-8.
She definitely knows who I am. She's seen my picture.
Yeah,
she
she'll be
knows who
like,
I
is he that fucking bitch? He's
am. What? Oh man, yeah, she's a pretty foul mouth.
Sounds fiery.
I'm obviously making stuff.
Sounds
I'm
pretty
obviously
fiery
making
here.
stuff up here. I'm making stuff up here.
Are you teaching her poker already? I think that's a really valuable skill.
No, not yet. I'm trying to teach her how to be polite.
Well, that is not required for poker, clearly. Look at this game.
So, Mike, I can go back and look, but save me the torture. Was it a? I was close to putting you all in.
I had aces.
You had aces.
Mhm.
Damn. Mine would have been a bluff. I didn't have anything, but mine would have been a bluff. But I was close to putting you all in.
Pretty aggressive, Pete.
Yeah.
That's a lot of conviction.
Gotta make sure you perform during your Brian Armstrong interview. Can't have you
Do
losing
bluff.
any sleep.
I do bluff once a night.
Hey, ask him about givecrypto.org. That's where they're doing the micro loans, or not even loans, they're just micro donations. It's actually a really great platform.
Potentially. There's a lot of other stuff to get through before that.
I know, but it always is nice, at least at the end, to let him plug how good of a human he is.
There's a
A lot.
lot to get through.
How long is the interview, Pete? 2 hours?
2 hours, yeah.
Everybody likes to talk about their philanthropy because it's actually like the thing that touches your heart.
I don't know.
You guys touch my heart.
Oh, that's so nice.
Well, when you get people like Warm and Fuzzy, they're actually more open to talk about things too. Like, you care about the parrots? I'm going to show you my cards.
Perfect.
During the hand? I love parrots.
Fantastic.
Oh, I just won't muck them automatically. Come on.
All right, Chris, I'm
You
gonna get some
gotta
money
get
back.
more hands shown here.
I'm going to say a real dick thing here, but I always think public philanthropy is just narcissism.
I agree.
I know
with
that's
you.
I know that's a dick comment, but anyone can do private philanthropy, and I only say it because I've done it myself a couple of times, and I've been like, "Hey, I did this," and just felt like a dick doing that. Sorry,
So
I know
you're
it's really
saying, Peter,
controversial.
you're saying that people should donate anonymously. That's the real kind of philanthropy.
I'm just saying, like, why do you need to tell people? Like, if you've
I
got a
think- I
reason to
think
tell
there's some-
people, there are some
It's-
valid reasons, like other people
It's
contribute.
stroke
I
their
set this up.
ego. Yeah, stroke their ego so get more people to do it.
Yeah, or it's like it's, you've done some bad shit in life. You're trying to get a pass into heaven.
Like, I can understand when
Whoa.
you're like, I'll match somebody's donation to this charity.
Yeah,
Right.
like when Jesse Powell did the thing to Coin Center, and he was like, "I'll give $2 million, and then we'll give another $2 million match to everyone else." That's cool as fuck because,
Yeah.
that. But like, it's like when you go on Twitter and someone's like, I gave $20 to a homeless guy today. It's like, fuck off. Everyone does that all the time. They don't go on Twitter and tell people.
Well, there's a difference of like if you are trying to get other people to put their money into the same thing versus just giving money blindly, like the Pineapple Fund. That's actually really great. Like Pineapple Fund is totally anonymous. You have money to give, but you're giving it to a charity. If you're running a charity, it's the same thing as raising venture capital. You're hitting phone calls, texts, you're on the ground raising money actively. So you want people to want to think it's cool. You know,
I'm fully aware I'm coming across as an asshole right now, but
no, I mean, I slept on the ground in the middle of the jungle to go participate in this thing, kind of partly because I thought it was amazing and a really unique experience, but also because I wanted to share it so that other people would be aware of what the issue is and maybe they could donate their money. You know,
but that's slightly different. Like you went on an experience and you're sharing that experience.
What are you saying? Like, oh, I just donated $100 type thing, or like, oh, I set this all up to raise like X amount of millions of dollars, or
like those people who video themselves buying lunch for a homeless person and then put it on.
Peter, it's called virtue signaling, right? Is that kind of what you're?
Cool. Yeah, and I've been guilty of it myself, and I think you know when you're doing it.
It's human nature. It's unavoidable, I think.
There's actually an entire app for this on the Use blockchain.
I think it's avoidable. I just think it requires a backbone, and like I've been guilty of doing it myself, but I don't know.
I don't do anything good unless people can see it.
Well said. Well said. That's why there's so much good in the world.
That's a good way. If you do it that way, then that's a dick move. That's for sure.
Ugh, I can't believe I'm folding this, but I don't want to be in this hand with you guys.
Oh, just call. Come on, just call.
Ooh.
So,
No,
200.
I'll tell you what I had.
it's 0. What is it? 0.1, 0.019, and it's like just numbers, right?
I had quads. No, I'm just kidding. I'll tell you my hand afterwards.
Ooh.
I did
like
the amount of quads.
That's a good one.
That is spicy.
That's a good one. That was a perfect size.
That was
perfect. That was perfect.
You know who donates a ton of
800.
money?
Just you have pot odds. You have pot odds.
Peter, you know who donates a ton of money and doesn't talk about it really?
No, because they don't talk about it.
Is Sam at FTX.
Fuck me.
Oh.
What are you calling there?
All you need is a club.
God.
Which I had.
Hot odds.
How many times can I get it in good and lose?
Hot odds.
I don't get what you're calling there.
Fuck.
Hot odds.
Chris, so what did you
Chris or me?
Pocket twos.
Do you have a spade in there?
It was a perfect bet, Luke. Nothing you could do.
I know.
Good.
Clubs, and I didn't have the
Luke,
clubs.
you played that perfect. But then
Yeah,
Luke,
club,
you want him to
taken
call as
it
well.
all.
Oh, I want him to call. I know. It's just like,
I
That
put you
is
on
having-
plus or queen, and I was just feeling it. I don't know what else to say.
Even if I had a club, I wouldn't have followed it all the way through.
just
You guys
feeling
are
it.
Yeah, but I was like, I've been running hot.
There's
But,
nothing wrong
your
with
entire,
that.
Chris, your entire stack is locked tonight. You need to take that out, give it to homeless people, film it, and put it on
There
YouTube.
you go. I like that idea.
Yeah.
I like that
You wanna
idea.
donate some to the small
You'll
stacks on
only
the
see that.
table?
You'll only see that video stream on my Twitter for like solid 3 days.
That's literally a 5K stack of luck.
And it feels so
Luck.
It feels so good when that happens.
I obviously I was never going to call, but I had a 4 that last hand.
So my raise worked then.
Well, I'm not going to call even 50 with a 4-8, let alone a 200 re-raise. If only I had.
I put you on ace king, and it still wins.
Even as a small chip stack, I'm still gonna straddle. I think this is my straddle night.
Keep the straddle going. I haven't taken it off for weeks.
I think it's a good idea.
It's fun. It spices it up.
Whose house again?
Me.
You've been
Like,
quiet over
yeah.
there, Chris.
Is it my turn?
Chris, I'm gonna have to send you some Bitcoin right now, man. That is just
Dang.
brutal.
Yeah, Pete, you know what's interesting is me and you are the only ones in the plus of everyone that's been playing all these weeks.
So we've got everyone else's money.
Essentially, yes.
Damn. This might be my first negative week.
It's early, man. It's only 9:30.
Yeah, but I gotta get a decent night's sleep tonight.
Oh,
One
man.
night I have to.
All right.
Bad beat hand. Ed, you're rolling. Bad beat hand. That's
Put
you,
it
baby.
in. Put it in. We're all gonna call.
Oh, there it is. Bad
Wow.
beat hand.
You guys.
There it is.
Peter's got the nuts right now. He's like, he knew he's gonna like.
I have not got the nuts here.
Peter has 5, 6 of spades. He just laughed.
I would love to have 5, 6 of spades right now. I got a hand. I've got something on that board. I don't think you go all in with 3. You've got overpair. Definitely got overpair. Without doubt, got an overpair. Fuck, it's tempting there.
Do it.
You can afford it.
I've been
You just have
unlucky.
to
all
change.
day.
No, I'm not. It's just.
You have 150 left.
It's not one of my. It's not. It's not about that. It's just. It's not one of my corner hands. I'll tell him what I had afterwards.
Odds are here for both you guys. Look at those stacks.
Definitely overpair, but.
Okay, what do you have? Show.
Yeah, right.
I'll get
Like
there.
queens or something.
What do you have, Pete?
I had a
I,
draw.
had four, I was 4-5 suited
I
and
had
a
two.
4.
I had 2 queens, Peter.
Yeah, you did.
Yes.
I thought-
It's
yeah, I thought you
uncanny
did.
How you call some shit.
I had a 7.
Well,
Well, you got to protect that, right? You know, you can get someone to come in that has like ace 8, and you got to protect
Yeah.
the flush. That's the play.
I had 4-5 suited, and I thought my 4 might have been good, and it was tempting because of the way the board was set up. It looked like one of those ones that's just going to bring out the other shit that I want.
You had a feeling otherwise. That's what you're saying.
Hmm.
Mm.
Hey, Peter.
Mhm.
What's your take on the British move to allow citizen path of citizenship to
hold on.
I meant to just. I meant to just.
Well, I'm going to call because I've got the 10. I think you might have hit the flush. Yeah, I thought so. Damn.
You had the 10.
Oh
I
my
could have got.
gosh!
I could have
You
got.
wouldn't,
Oh
you wouldn't
my
have got much more than
gosh.
that. You wouldn't have got much more than that. It's like you wouldn't.
You
got
would have
much more.
called on the 10, but probably not all in because you're short.
No, no way all in. No way all in. Sorry, what was that, Bobby?
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you, Peter.
That's okay.
So my question is, what do you think of the British plan to offer path of citizenship for people in Hong Kong? For Hong Kong.
Yeah,
Hong
I think
Kongers?
it's great. I think it's great.
Is that
It's
the
like-
is that the sentiment in England?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Popular support.
we have
but-
like a strong affinity with the people of Hong Kong.
But how come this wasn't done in '97? Like in 1997, it felt like British just abandoned these Hong Kong residents and say, "Hey,
Yeah,
you have this
yeah.
so fake British passport, but good luck."
I don't know. I don't know enough about that to give you like
Yeah.
an intelligent answer. What I know is we have a strong affinity with Hong Kong and the people of Hong Kong, and I went there for my first time, and it's like this weirdly half Chinese, half British place, like British buses and
Yeah.
bus stops. Like it's really weird when you get there. You're like, what the fuck? But I mean, I don't know the other stuff. But right now, it's like it's gone from its own kind of set of rules that we agreed to a prison, and I think it's quite a cool thing.
I see.
I think it's quite a cool thing.
So? Is there a lot of political support? Is there a lot of? Is it considered a popular thing for the British government now to offer Hong Kong this path out?
Do you know what? No one's really talking about it. I think it's
No one's talking about it. Okay.
I think it's an ethical thing. I think they've just done it. I mean, the thing is like
So it's not to win. It's not meant to score points with the British people.
no, because I don't think it would. It's like we're a small island with a big population. There may be like some expectation that those who do come and can afford maybe are above average educated and can contribute, blah blah, all that kind of stuff. I don't really know, but it's not really being talked about. It was kind of one of those things that's very British when it happened. It's like, oh yeah, I'm not surprised we did that.
Yeah, I think.
Peter, you made 2 great folds.
What was the first one?
It was
with the aces on the board.
A6. Yep.
You had A6, so
Yep,
you had the full
exactly.
house. Do you
I did not have a full house.
I thought there was an ace and a six. I thought there were 2 aces and a 6 on the board.
Yeah, but I didn't have a full house.
Oh, so what did you have?
I had an ace.
Yeah, the ace. I was holding pocket kings.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dirty.
So because I was big blind, 9 at the table. Occasionally, what I'll do is rather than put a big bet in there and everyone call, I'll just sit and see what the action is ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll easily fold that hand and not give a fuck, right? Whilst it looks a nice hand, it's not a tournament hand. I don't care, share, but and then it got the raise. I was like, cool, but there was like 4 people in the hand, so I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm behind. Yeah. First ace comes out, I'm like happy to fold. Second one comes out, I'm like, okay, this is kind of different. Half size bet, I'm calling, but 660, I'm like, it looked like you were faking. I thought you were faking having it.
Too good.
So for example, Ed makes that bet, I'm calling because it's slightly different. Luke makes that bet, I'm not calling it at all. I'm thinking about it. The other one, it wasn't a tough fold because I had nothing. It was whether I was going to bluff you. So I had the 7-2, so I raised up the pot with the 7-2, being fancy and trying to show off with the 7-2. So what my decision there is, have you got something I can get you off or not? It's slightly different. I can't call. My only option is a bluff to get you off. This is a brutal evening.
Wow.
I haven't got anything. I thought you were bluffing me.
2-7 might be good.
Nah. I haven't got anything.
Sorry, Bobby. Were you waiting a while?
I was getting fancy.
Yeah, just a minute. I was about to message you, but thanks for putting me through. My Zoom keeps crashing. I think it's buying my cards.
I am
You have
off
a lot
my
of
fucking
a lot of-
game now.
You have a lot of tabs open?
I guess.
Yeah, you should like shut some of them down. It makes it operates better.
Wow.
So I have a question, Bobby. This is for you.
Yes.
When you look at the amount of attention, developer mindshare, activity on the Ethereum network, what do you think that means for Bitcoin, the network, and what it needs to do in the next few years?
I'm gonna see if he calls first. This is a very important hand.
Jack Queen.
This is gonna show whether I win for the night or lose for the night.
Sounds important.
You're just betting fast.
Chris has been quiet over there. He's just been waiting for Ace King. That's it, all night.
Yep.
Straight. All right. Yeah. Okay. What was the question?
So when you look at Ethereum and how it's really taken so much mind share across the development community and just how much activity the network's getting, what do you think that means for the Bitcoin network? And do you look at it as like a battle of sorts?
As most people know, I'm a bigger fan of Bitcoin. I don't mind. I'm a bigger fan of Bitcoin. And when Ethereum gets so much attention, I actually still have even more confidence in Bitcoin because Bitcoin's value is different than Ethereum's value. So if Ethereum is being very highly regarded, to me, it's a how do you say it? It ultimately benefit Bitcoin. There may be a time lag and stuff like that, but ultimately it will benefit Bitcoin.
Gotcha. So what do you think that people need to be focused more on building on Bitcoin, the network? Applications, innovations.
My take is Bitcoin is what it is already. It doesn't need to be dramatically different or improved. It's not a work. It is a work in progress, but it's not broken. Does that make sense? I think there's room for improvement, just like the internet has room for improvement, but the internet works as it is. And back 20 years ago, we were concerned about the internet scaling to do streaming audio, streaming video. But the fundamental technology of the internet was sound. That's why today we have streaming audio, streaming video, right? Gigabit videos. So with Bitcoin, I think the fundamentals are strong, even though today, it may be limited by in some people's opinion, but I think the fundamentals are strong such that it's not, I don't think it's missing a huge cornerstone and whereas it's going to risk collapsing it on itself in 20 years.
Gotcha.
Okay, let's go again.
Yep. We got the 7. I got the call, but
I see there's a Coindesk article about that.
Finally, motherfucking evening.
There you go. That
I'm lucky you caught that 6 there.
I need to get a charger.
There is.
I'm gonna leave you with
You're lucky that it was.
Oh, I knew you were stealing it. I knew you were stealing it.
Yeah, but if that's an ace, you'd probably fold.
If what's an ace?
The turn.
Oh, right, yeah, the ace. Yeah. Well, maybe, but I already know you're stealing it, and with you're stealing it with anything. It doesn't really fucking matter. You're just stealing it.
I wouldn't go that far. I'm definitely not stealing with anything.
A standard Chris move.
Calling 50 pre-flop with Queen 6 offsuit. I don't know. That's standard.
Dude, I called it with King 7 offsuit. I know you're good.
I know. What the fuck? Number one, what are we both doing in that pot? That's question one.
Well, do you know what? I'll call almost any pre-raise because whatever, you can play any board. Yeah, especially when you've had.
I called because I was last to act and I
fuckload of whiskey. But then someone raised it up again. I don't call 50. I call 20, then another 30, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm nearly back to even on that. I just need that. I just need another double up against Chris.
That's a suspect call, Chris. Queen 6.
Yeah, I didn't put him on the 7. And I already had
calling with. What am I calling with there? 7-4-4 straight draw.
No, I thought I put you on like a ace queen, something like that. Ace king. 2 overcards. You know, thinking I'm bluffing.
I could see that.
I
I
could
could
see
see
that.
that. I could see that.
Right. And once again, I was running hot, so it's like I'll roll with it.
Run hot against me, run bad against Pete.
I ran hot with Pete to start
Dude,
the night off.
he took $2,000 off me with a sketchy call. Well, the right call, but
Hmm.
yeah, the right call. Wasn't
The
a
right
sketchy
call indeed.
It
Top
was the
pair.
right call. It was the right
Top
call.
pair.
I wonder what you. I think you're calling me even if I raise you all in on the flop on that one. When you put 80 in, I still think you're calling me all in. Top pair.
What on this last hand?
No, the previous that first one early on. You got top pair. I still think you're calling me all in.
I don't
You're
know.
like You're like 600.
Yeah, well, I called because I was,
Exactly.
you know, I already had, it just made pot odds for me, right? Like it just made sense.
Yeah.
I may have folded, you know. It's not hard to put you on a.
But I want you calling there. I think I'm ahead. I want you calling.
Yeah, no, for sure you do. Like 85% of the time, 90% of the time, I don't win there, right?
That's my first big bad beat in whatever 12 weeks. I've had a few, but that's the first big
I
one.
feel proud that I'm the one that gave it to you. Like that makes me happy.
Dude,
It's fun.
I'm glad your biggest pot against me is a lucky one.
That's great.
You should get a little background of me in your pocket.
No, I'm just not an asshole like that. I would actually never do that to you, Peter. See, this is the difference between me and you.
This is a British thing.
It must be. It obviously is. A Canadian definitely wouldn't do that. That's for sure, right, Chris?
Not a chance.
Definitely not.
Canadians aren't known for being funny.
I actually think Canadians are pretty funny. I actually do.
Yeah, they're nice.
Well, I think they're funny because when people make fun of Canadians and how they talk, I guess you suggest it's funny.
What do you want to boot?
That's it. Jim Carrey, he's Canadian. I was like, wait a minute.
Mike Myers, he's Canadian. He's pretty funny. Those are pretty two massive ones.
Seth Rogen.
Justin Bieber, super
Seth Rogen,
funny.
you're right. Seth Rogen.
Right?
Biebs.
Drake's hilarious. Well, what else could I say?
Justin Trudeau's hilarious.
Yeah, that's true.
Luke, I've got some Bitcoin I was about to sell. And I'm looking, thinking,
Thinking what?
Don't sell.
Don't sell, stack 'em.
So I get the odd invoice I get paid in Bitcoin, and my historically I've kept 25% in Bitcoin and 75% sold to run the business. And it's on the exchange, and I'm like, usually every time I'm wrong.
I mean, if you're thinking about selling, this is like the first 24-hour period that we have positive momentum. So it's like, I don't know.
No,
I think you should at least sway a little bit back towards not wanting to sell.
that's what I'm doing. I'm thinking sleep on it.
Should have bluffed. Not bluffed, but bet the turn over the river there.
I wouldn't sell, man. It's risk on everywhere you look.
The flop of the turn. Let you get there. Terrible.
You let me get there for sure.
Be right back.
Crystal. Is Crystal there, or is she frozen?
She stepped away for a minute.
All right. I don't know what's going on.
Looks frozen.
Yeah, she does.
Definitely looks frozen.
In a pondering moment.
No, she set that up, and I thought that was pretty cool. I wonder how you do that.
I guess she screenshotted herself before.
Peter, what do you got?
All kings. Look, a king comes out as I say that. I got 5 kings now. I made the flush.
Yep.
Go.
Never won.
You were betting bottom pair there anyway. So. Crystal.
You like my background?
I did. I was talking to you, and I thought you were pondering something.
There was,
I had to get a charger, and I did say I was getting a charger, but I thought I would make the live stream still full of faces.
So, Crystal, I've got something I want to talk to you about. Kanye's had a big week.
Mm-hmm.
His wife did a pretty cool thing this week. Today, I think it was.
Which was?
She put out like a very interesting statement. I just think you and Brock need to like raise your game. Brock needs to do something. Like he's offering £1 million a baby. Just think.
Isn't Kanye out of
I'm
the
just
race,
thinking $2 million a baby might swing it.
What was the announcement that she made?
She wrote so he announced $1 million a baby, and then she did a statement about his bipolar disorder. And I'm not laughing at his bipolar disorder. I'm just laughing, and I thought her statement was awesome.
Hey, Chris, it's top of the hour. What's the next thing?
I actually think his thing is very dangerous in the presidential race.
Chris, you're on mute.
Chris, family pod. So not this hand. We'll do the next hand.
Because I guess the difference is like Brock is deadly serious, right?
He's so serious, and he actually has a very good strategy.
Well, he had a pretty good week himself.
Like, but Kanye is not serious.
Announcement.
Kanye's out, I'm pretty sure.
Where he's gonna hold the campaign.
Kanye pulled the plug.
Oh, he pulled the plug. I thought he was on the voting ballot in like a few states now.
He failed in South Carolina after his rally.
Oh, okay.
Wednesday, Brock just bought a building in DC for the HQ, but he has a strategy that actually makes a lot of sense. And I think it's feasible. There is a possibility to break apart the bipartisan system, like the two-party system can be expanded, but there's a loophole. Let's just say that the person who has figured out how to sort of disrupt and break every system has figured out this one too. And I'm really excited for him to talk about it and for you to hear what he has to say, because it's his announcement to make. But I think it's something that everyone goes, oh, that's so obvious, but it's never before been revealed and never before been looked at as an option.
What is success for Brock in this? Obviously, being president would be amazing, but like, what also is success? And I don't mean that to just discredit him, but he's obviously quite behind Trump and Biden naturally. And I don't mean to say he can't do something amazing, but like, what else is success? Is it just to show that a different option is possible?
I think if we can encourage people to think about something different, it's breaking open the system. Nobody thought that the financial institutions were going to be disrupted in the way that they are with crypto. It's the same exact thing. It's just messaging and getting people to become aware and start hacking the system. And I think he's a really good hacker. I would like to host over at ooh, that's nice.
Family pot, right?
That's indeed very nice.
Yeah,
Family pot.
Family pot.
How much, Chris?
20.
Fucking me again.
Call it around.
Is this a raise to 50 drawdown or family pot?
We'll do 20. We'll do 20. 20,
20 family pot.
20, yeah.
Hey, Chris, you can't change the rules.
No, that's what we did last week.
All right.
Well, last one was. Is this a no? Last one was.
Is that different?
That
Yes.
last one was a flip. Is this a family pot?
Yeah, so
or
you
a flip?
you can play it after the flop.
Yeah. So this
Oh, I
is
see. This is different from
Play
1
that.
hour ago. Okay, got it.
Flop. Yeah. Play it after the flop.
Oh, Mike.
Family pot is everybody's in pre-flop for 20 and then you play it, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Except for Mike.
Right. Sorry, I was just moving spots here.
What?
What are you doing that?
Whoa.
I think we missed the memo.
What's happening right now?
Ed, we were doing a family pot here.
Right. It's a family pot of 40.
Are you telling
Family
me
pot of
because I
40.
made 20 more that we're not
Family
going
pot
to
at
do a
40.
family pot?
Yeah, we're still doing it. We're still doing it.
family pot.
All right, family pot will play after the flop, I guess.
Might shove on my go here.
Now we
Pot.
should do it
What
as-
happened? This is not fair.
We could do a family
Trust me,
shove.
if you saw my hand, you would definitely think it's fair.
Interesting flop here. We can play now, by the way. So
I thought we were checking it down. I
No,
don't know
no.
the rules anymore.
So flips and family pot. So family pot will do just the. We'll start playing when the flop comes. Flip will go all the way down check. So we can start playing now.
But
And
if you
flip-
raise
flip-
the family pot, then it becomes a flip.
Flips are for 50 family.
Yeah.
So is this a flip? This is
No, it's a family pot.
It's a family pot.
family flip.
Let's see another card. There you go. Action. I like that, Chris. Action.
Here's a flip.
There's still a couple $100 there, maybe.
I'm all in.
Are you?
Oh.
No, when I go all in, I won't announce it. How many people here can actually vote? Is everyone in the US? For the US president?
I'm Canadian, so I can't vote.
I'm in Puerto Rico, so I technically cannot vote for my own first lady position.
That's unbelievable. I think everyone here can vote except Peter, Chris, and I. Or Cheds, where are you at?
New England, outside Boston.
So you can vote.
Basically the UK.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So does Brock have your vote? Like, what's the sitch?
I believe in the sanctity of the ballot box, sir. The privacy of the sacred institution.
That's no.
I hear it doesn't matter. I usually vote third party anyway. I think the two-party system is probably one of the biggest problems with American politics and outside money in politics without disclosure, all that. So I have a lot of thoughts kind of along the lines of what she said. I've actually never heard of the gentleman. Is it your husband, Crystal, that we're talking about, or Brock? Who's Brock?
Yeah, Brock Pierce. Look him up. He's-
Okay. I apologize. I don't know who he is, but I'm down with
Dude.
third party. So
Still the chairman of the Bitcoin Foundation. He's also
Kind of a big deal.
co-founder of Tether. He's one of the earliest, I would say the largest ICO investor in Ethereum. He was a co-founder of EOS and Mastercoin, the first ICO, even though that's the least notable, but I guess oldest in tenor besides Bitcoin. But before that, he did digital assets through gaming, and yeah, he's definitely done some things in the space, but it's beyond that at this point. He's disrupted large institutions for the purpose of the incumbent systems not being structured correctly, and I think he's always been on the right path, and now he's attacking American politics, and more power to him. I didn't think that he would go for it this year because it takes a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of people. And a lot of people are scared. People are scared to waste their vote. They feel like if they vote for an independent, it's a waste of a vote. And that's totally understandable. But at some point, we have to break the system. So what year is that going to be? 2020 can't possibly throw another curveball. There's nothing more weird that can happen than, my my partner running for president.
Thank you. Oh, okay. I'm looking him up. Seems like a nice guy.
Definitely a nice guy.
He
I-
has all of our best interests in mind.
Yeah. That's awesome. I think sounds like he's done a lot. He should be proud of his accomplishments. And I think a lot of people in life, you can just kind of accept what you have and accept like what's going on. It sounds like he wants to make his own waves, kind of create his own reality. So I would say props for that.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we're all doing, right? Oh, Bobby.
Is that a good bet?
Big raise.
I bet. I mean, it's not
a call me bet.
it's not worth it for me to chase it to the river, unfortunately. But
Definitely don't chase.
I don't know that you have a king. It's okay.
I have better than the king.
Oh. Ah,
Yep.
yeah.
I had 4 too.
Thanks for showing. You have a very lucky chip stack number there.
Oh no, chips. Chris just set up a good hand for me.
Yeah, I gave him a call for you, Bobby. I called the guys.
Bobby, where's your brother tonight?
He's dealing with Twitter.
Ah.
I actually don't know. What happened? Is Charlie not available tonight?
Yeah, couldn't make it.
How many people got hacked? He got hacked?
A lot of people got hacked. Charlie hasn't gotten his Twitter back, actually, which is pretty fucked up.
Did he get hacked or did he not get access to it?
Well, no, he didn't get hacked. Twitter got hacked, and his account was compromised.
Well, hold on. Actually, Twitter didn't necessarily get hacked. Twitter has God access, which allows employees to access any account without knowing their password, even if they have 2FA. So that
Yeah, but that employee supposedly lost or didn't lost. They got phished for their credentials. So technically, it's a hack, right?
Yeah, but that's a massive security hole in their procedures. Like, how the fuck do you let people have that kind of access? Rogue employee?
That's the biggest hack that Twitter, or call whatever you want. That's the biggest thing that Twitter's ever dealt with in that regard.
To me, that's rogue employee can just go fucking rogue on previous presidents.
But why do we care about the employee? We should care about the platform having God access. That's actually a bigger deal. And a couple years ago, it was found that Twitter had everyone's passwords stored in plain text. So,
well, I don't give a fuck about the employer. What I'm saying is that they're basically telling us employees had that kind of access.
Yeah.
You know, he got hacked, but what if he didn't get hacked? What if someone gets just one day thinks, fuck it, I'm just gonna fuck around with this?
well, what if they don't say fuck it? What if they just say, I'm gonna look at everyone's private messages. I'm gonna look at
that as well.
private messages. I'm gonna look at Trump's private messages. I'm just gonna look at everyone's DMs anytime I want to.
But
and gather data.
Everything you've said is just the issue, the core issue with centralized systems, right? When I worked at Yahoo, 20 years ago? Same thing, right? Yahoo had a centralized system, and the right people can access all the Yahoo accounts. And it's the same with Google. It's just company internal procedures and security. So centralized systems always have that problem.
Yeah, I mean, smart contracts. The interesting thing about like the smart contracts that govern systems, blockchain systems, is that you can see whether or not that is written in and open source as well. But they get criticized hugely. Bancor was criticized for having God access and the ability to change anything in a smart contract.
So the question, Crystal, is there a decentralized alternative to a messaging social media platform like Twitter? And so far, I haven't seen one.
There are some that are working on it. I feel like they're not. No one has made it accessible enough. It goes back to the problem that we were talking about. It's really difficult onboarding, holding your own private key, explaining how the system works. We've had to pivot with SenseChat because our original platform relied on people understanding private keys. And it's too high of a curve, you know? I don't know. What do you think about Hive, which is the Steemit pivot? Is that the closest thing?
Who are you asking?
Sorry, I was just going to say, I don't think this is a problem of centralization versus decentralization. I think this is a problem with Twitter's internal procedures and systems. I think it's just a dumb setup.
Yeah, why do they even have that access is the question.
Yep.
That's the problem.
But I think Hive is close. Steemit slash Hive. Hive is the evolution of Steemit. Since Steemit was acquired by Tron, the community forked it and became Hive, and now you have a blogging platform that can be accessed through, many different interfaces or clients, and all your content is stored there. But it's just not as scalable as Twitter.
Oh my goodness, 100. I would call, if you're less, I'd call you with my 2-7 offsuit.
2-7, you're calling 20?
No, I folded.
Almost
I had $20 on 2-7.
With
I
2-7.
called 20 with 2-7. Absolutely, on the gun. Here, show your hand. Pocket eights. Oh, 3-6.
That's for you.
Better than my 2-7. Better than my 2-7.
That's for you, Bobby. I showed you that.
That's better than a 2-7. That's great.
What did you say earlier? The captain needs to lead, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, you're doing your job. I'm a happy member of your ship.
Good to know. So, Chris, what's going on in your world? What's the latest and greatest with life in Toronto?
Yeah, no, Toronto's great. I'm actually going to BC on Sunday for a month.
Is this the first flight since COVID?
Yeah, I went to Miami in February, so before COVID was really happening. But yeah, first flight since it's been on.
Are you going to be there a while or no?
For a month, yeah. My folks live out there and have some help raising the little one, right? Like he's 9 months old tomorrow.
Wow, congrats.
We haven't had a babysitter or anything. It's just us.
So you can relate when I say like it's just been so hard. Like me and my wife look at each other like I just want like a weekend. Like I'm good with a night now. Like even a night.
That's how, lack of sleep, right? It's that sleep,
not even sleep, bro. Like I got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and it's just constantly on, like constant. And to just like literally just chill, you and your spouse, and not have to worry about like everything that goes with that. Like it's.
Are there grandparents where you are at the cottage?
Well, to your point, like we came up here because the grandparents are up here too. So we've had that help since May, which has been glorious. I'll say, like.
Do your grandparents help when you're bitching?
Pardon? They don't help do they help my bitching?
No, you've got the help from grandparents and you're bitching.
No, I'm not bitching as much as I get it because I was there like, March to May.
Dude, I'm a single parent. I've done the whole lockdown on my own.
Yeah, that's hard too. I totally agree with you. Like that's
no grandparents, no help.
That's really tough too, man.
Near murder.
Now I understand all the gin.
Actually, this is a whiskey sour I was making.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah, Sola would be pretty fucked up too, eh? That would be pretty fucked up.
A lot of my solo friends, they just don't care. They go out and they just not party, but they hang out with people and they don't really care too much about being socially distant.
Fair enough. All they really need to do is just make sure they don't go see their parents. So if like they're not gonna see their parents anyways, like might as well live it up.
Yeah, it's been the vibe here lately. It seems like people just don't care.
Yeah, that's what you see in San Francisco.
I mean, everyone still wears masks, but it's like our hospitalizations and stuff are like near, like they're like nothing. So it's like people are just don't sit in their box.
Did you guys just tighten the bolts a little bit? Like, didn't you go on lockdown?
We just never got off. We've never had restaurants open or haircuts or anything. You go elsewhere in the country and like everyone's walking around, no mask, bars full. I don't know. I think the governor or whoever made the call here is just never going to change their opinion until after the elections, regardless of what the data starts to show.
And that's probably the best call, man. Like that's what's pretty fucked about it, but it's true.
There's a
Maybe.
definite uptick in the. You just hit 1205 deaths yesterday.
Is that cumulative or are we looking at daily?
No, that's the daily back. So you hit a low on the 30th of June, or not a low, but that kind of week.
When you say you mean the U.S. or you mean
Yeah, the U.S. So you had the downward trajectory, and then when the numbers started going back up, Trump was like, well, numbers are going up, but they're just sniffles, or they're just like kids, whatever. And he just wasn't accounting for the lag. But the lag from your like first case, so your peak cases to peak deaths was about 3 weeks. And when your second wave peak cases peaked again, 3 weeks later, it started to go up again. So you're going back up. That's not even a criticism of Trump. I mean, obviously he's a moron, but like I think the US is unique in its situation, and I think even under a Democratic president, you have a unique problem.
You have states' rights here. Every state's going to do its own thing. So it's kind of like the good and the bad of that system, right? That's just what we have.
But I fly in from the UK, obviously a lot, and we have 2 major international airports here: Gatwick and Heathrow. The US, I can fly into 3 in New York. I can fly into Florida. I can fly into Austin. I fly to LA. I can fly to San Francisco. So you've got, I don't know how many international hubs you've got, but I'm assuming like 10. But you have this other unique problem, because I think it spreads through the airports most of all, is that so whenever I've been in the US, your plane system is like our trains. If you want to get around the UK, you get a train. You don't get a plane. Get around the US, you get a plane. And you've got all these amazing small airports. So I just think it came in via the hubs and just went. It just went.
Well, you know what that begs the question of? It's like, it's one thing to figure out how to get states and cities and regions locked down and months of no cases. But let's not even think about for a second what's going to happen when it's about international travel. Like, that's a whole other beast.
Yeah.
Like, that's what just tells you right there. We got years ahead of us, you know? Like, when are you going to feel comfortable, Pete, to like, oh, I'm going to go to like, 30 cities this year? That's like 2023, 2024.
No, I'm kind of at that. I don't give a fuck anymore. I'll just get on with things.
Yeah.
Because based on the percentage, I think I already had it, Chris. So right when it kicked off, I was out in Turkey making a film, and I came back and I was so sick, like the sickest I've ever felt.
I had that at New Year's. So I don't know if that qualifies, but I have a cough right now, and it's been lasting a couple weeks, but there's really no cases out here.
Oh, Peter.
Why is it always you and me?
Because I suck and you also.
And Peter's just way better than you at poker, Ed. It's not like we're a pro for 3 years.
Peter's way better at sucking out than I am.
Peter's fantastic at that. It must be because he likes Bitcoin so much, and you were involved in a lot of shitcoins in the early days. So that's exactly why he wins.
Oh my
I would
god.
have called you.
There's the pressure. Dark coin pressure.
Eat Jack or King Jack?
Wow.
What do you put him on?
8 Jack or King Jack? King Jack probably. I have King Queen, so I'm gonna fold. So sad.
Good fold.
So sick.
Peter, you're not showing. You don't like showing cards, huh?
You didn't call what my hand was. I would have bet it differently if I seen the board properly. I had Jack Queen, so I had
Yeah.
the straight all the way up to the king. I didn't see the full cards for the straight. Otherwise, I value bet that. Didn't see it.
Oh, I would have lost all my money to you because I had the low straight.
I would have loved that, Crystal.
Mm.
That would have made him happy.
I like being in.
There you go. We got 3 persons in the hand here.
We've had a few flops like this, Spider.
Me and you?
Me and you have had a few flops like this.
What do you call? What'd you have last time? Would you go King 7? That would have been a good call this time. Offsuit. Oh, big bet, Crystal.
I'm following Crystal. Fuck that shit. She's savage.
I feel like I should push it here. First to act. If you had a queen, you'd maybe check it there. Is my ace jack suited no good? I don't know. I'll have to fold. You don't want to
All
show?
right.
Crystal had the queen.
I got another
She
sangria
is a
coming.
queen.
Why didn't I have the 7?
You had pocket 10s? I had ace jack suited.
It's a good hand.
Yeah, until the flop comes. Then it's a piece of garbage and your first act and you take my position. Then it sucks.
I have a Bitcoin question for you guys. I don't know if any of you are interplanetary travel fans, Mars kind of travel.
Yeah.
So if
That
the
makes sense.
human race eventually goes interplanetary, right? Some people believe that, some people don't. But if it does, the question is, how will cryptocurrency function when there's a light speed delay of 8, 10, or whatever, however many minutes between here and Mars or here and another planet star? Any thoughts on that?
You mean the same delay that we have on Zoom?
I don't think it will work.
There'll be
You
a
can't.
shit- There'll
We
be,
can't.
there'll be a shitcoin up in Mars, and then there'll be some atomic swaps.
Mars
Each,
coin.
each planet will have their own local currency.
Yeah, exactly.
And then atomic swaps are sort of long delay coins.
It's like how would it work right now before cryptocurrency if the U.S. dollar just moves back and forth with spaceships, right? That's sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that about spaceships moving U.S. dollars, or is that a joke, or is that it?
No, like if cryptocurrency wasn't a thing and there were multiple planets, how would the multiple planets do their currency transactions?
Well, under the non-crypto world, if Bitcoin never invented, to be centralized fiat, and then central book ledger, whatever way it is to the Fed wire and stuff like that. So that wouldn't be a problem. But the thing with Bitcoin, let's just say Bitcoin, right? So block confirmations and the time delay, like I don't know how many minutes delay, but if you're on the orbits and stuff like that. So meaning a transaction that gets confirmed on Mars won't get propagated to Earth blockchain for half an hour or more. And by then there could be a double spend and stuff like that. So what's a practical solution? Maybe this problem, I'm getting ahead of the issue, but just throw it out there.
The answer is one word, Bobby. It's called lightning.
That's funny.
Yeah, instant quantum resolution.
That's it.
Lightning.
That's the answer. It's like immediate, right? Like that's it. You're good after that.
I had
my
ace
God,
king.
like,
I
stop.
folded ace king.
You should be wearing the lightning hat. Is that what's on the back of your hat? Lightning.
Yeah, I should have a
Powered by
light.
lightning.
If I had a lightning bolt right here, that would be so cool, man. I'll tell you, I would have flipped that around so quick.
Powered by lightning.
You'd
No,
have
but
to,
it's-
Bobby. You'd have to fold time and space somehow, right? Wouldn't you have to kind of close that gap of delay time?
Well, I don't. Well, yeah. So sure, but the worms in space time can be folded. So I think I forgot who just mentioned it 2 minutes ago, but having a separate coin for Mars and then have a sync, either atomic swaps or have a sync on a separate chain, Yeah. So Ed, what can you clarify your
Yeah, no, I
thoughts?
just think this is going to be like a different crypto ecosystem. It's just because
Can't Mars be a side chain? And then a bit like Liquid, you have to just like transfer your Bitcoin over. And when you get to Mars, by the time you've gone in your rocket and got there, your Bitcoin's there.
Yeah. So if anyone out there listening, watching live stream, this is an area, if you want to do something now, you could do it ahead, be 10, 15 years ahead of the game by developing a Mars crypto sidechain.
Mars crypto sidechain. It sounds like a perfect ICO.
Yeah, Mars Bitcoin sidechain.
Feels like a sidechain. Send up to Mars.
Hey, Peter, let me ask you the same question I asked Bobby earlier.
Yep.
What do you think about the lack of development on the Bitcoin network? Because that's really what I was asking. But like
What lack of
application.
development?
Yeah, that wasn't your question for me, Chris.
I don't think there is a lack of development.
That's
I'll
what
let Peter go first.
The roundabout way, right? That's what I was asking. Like the
I don't
lack
think
of
there is
a
a
very
lack of
different question.
development mind share. Because you got to talk about ETH when you're asking that question, because ETH is garnering most of that mind share. But I see that.
But you're using Chris. I'm on Peter's side. I agree with Peter. I think you're using ETH's strength and the definition of Ethereum to sort of criticize and metric and measure Bitcoin. The opposite way of the other way to say it is, what do you think of Ethereum's lack of market capitalization or lack of circulation value? Right. That's not Ethereum's strength. But doesn't, I think it's not a fair question.
Listen, Bobby, the interesting thing, and I'll let Peter go, but the interesting thing for me is I'm on the Bitcoin side, right? Like that's my.
I don't understand your point. What lack of development? What's not happening on Bitcoin?
Yeah, like gold has not been developed much lately,
When I say lack of development, I speak specifically to lack of developer focus, right? When I'm a developer and I'm thinking about building a business and raising money and building something that allows me to live my life to whatever my expectations are, I'm thinking about Ethereum. I'm not thinking about building that business or application, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, on Bitcoin.
Bitcoin was not made to be an application network, though. I mean, look, Ethereum created the smart contract, which is essentially an if this then that statement. Like it's
that's like
programmable language.
That's like whataboutism almost. Like I don't get what your point is. No offense, I just don't understand what your point is. Like I understand like you have opportunities yourself, but I don't understand what's that got to do with Bitcoin. That's just you.
Yeah, it's not about having a point or whatever opportunities. It's the way I look at it is there's so much time and attention and focus on building on Ethereum. It's taken away from a lot of the potential strides Bitcoin as a network can make. So that's all I'm asking is, like, I'm on the Bitcoin side, but I'm asking it saying, why aren't people thinking about building a business and building their product or whatever it may be on Bitcoin.
I get it. I think what it is with Bitcoin and Bitcoin developers, they're trying to build the best, hardest, most secure value exchange, similar to a kind of gold 2.0, and it's a very narrow focus what they're trying to do. Whereas Ethereum is just like this big pile of disorganized shit with a bunch of morons. Don't know what the fuck the real world is about. Building as much crap as they can.
That's not fair.
I was about to issue Peter a compliment. I almost issued Peter a compliment. I was going to say the very beginning.
I got a fish.
It was really eloquent at the beginning part, and it was actually very spot on about store of value. I want to speak from the perspective of a person who has built an application built an application on Ethereum, actually several, built an application on EOS, and has felt the pain of being a developer on these networks. Bitcoin is a store of value. That is its inherent core value proposition. And Lightning is somewhat easier to build on top of. But it's not meant for application development. That's the fallacy of dApps.
Yes. What is it? You brilliant explanation of what Bitcoin is, but what is ETH? What actually is it?
I mean, I left the network because it also is flawed. It's an application and a store of value.
It's not a store of value.
Well, proof of work exists on the Ethereum network as well, and that's another big portion of why it's flawed. You cannot build scalable applications on something that has fees for every transaction. You can't do microtransactions. I was doing messaging on Ethereum. It doesn't work.
Yep.
So, you have to move on to the next thing. And then we did proof of stake or delegated proof of stake and found other flaws because now you have resourcing issues. CPU costs money, RAM costs money. The short answer, Chris, is that there is not yet a good blockchain that has proven itself for application development that is also a store of value. Those two things are at odds.
Well said, Chris. So I agree with you 100%. So Chris, so to my summary of what your question, I think your question is malformed because Bitcoin is a certain kind of animal, and it's not meant to be this other animal that Ethereum is. And I'm not making a judgment on which animal is better or worse. They have their fans. So I think it's a mistake to say Bitcoin has to be this other animal when it's meant to be this first animal.
It's not about, like, I agree that that's Bitcoin's strength, right? Like, I'm not saying that's not Bitcoin's strength at all. I'm just interested to know why people think a lot of that attention is on the Ethereum side, right? Like, there's no refuting the fact there's been multi-billion-dollar businesses that have been built by building product and things people seem to want to use.
Short-term
Ethereum
businesses.
Sure, short-term or whatever that short-term.
Yeah, but Chris, I think it's invalid because it's like just bring Tesla as an example, right? Like, how come Bitcoin is not powering electric cars? Like, Bitcoin is not meant to be an electric car, right? You can't compare Bitcoin to Tesla. You can't compare Bitcoin to Walmart. It's not the same thing.
But I think it's fair to say that there's a lot of things that Bitcoin's going to grow to become and grow to be better, and then grow to have people build on top of. And the question is, like, how do they garner that mind share? How do they continue to garner that mind share?
Bitcoin just moves money around, and it moves money around in a better and better way over time, in a more secure way.
I hear what Chris is saying. I think what Chris is saying is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, it's like with all that mind share, like the killer dApp might not be built on Bitcoin. It might be built somewhere else because you have this exponential growth of developers in crypto, and a lot of them are not going into Bitcoin. And so as you have like exponential growth of developer interest in the space, you're going to have exponential launching of like dApps, right, across many different blockchains. And then over time, like if it's 1,000,000 to 1 shot that you're going to get the killer dApp at some point, that 1,000,000 to 1 shot is probably going to happen where all the developers are at. If they're not in Bitcoin, then it might be somewhere else. I guess that's
well, that's betting the app is not money, right? Like,
right.
Bitcoin's bet is money, and I actually believe in that bet. But I mean, there's definitely a lot of shit being built outside of that. That's not directly in competition, but takes developer mindshare and mindshare in general.
ETH developers have high time preference.
Have high time. What does that mean?
I think Bitcoin developers are playing the long game. They're trying to build the best, most robust monetary system they can. I think ETH developers are trying to build something that does something exciting,
They make them some money. They make them some money. Make them rich in the next 5 years.
Yeah. It's just like, how much money can I make as quickly as possible with some bullshit idea? And
I'd argue that's the biggest reason why it's garnered most, if not all, of that mind share, is because people are looking at it. There's a real monetary incentive to doing this.
Yeah. Well, it depends where you're
better than my pocket pair.
I was scared you had a heart.
I have.
No, I know that.
Ethereum to me seems like a very bad operating system.
It is. If you're a developer building an application, you have burned a lot of time trying to make it work. It's just the challenge. The ICO is the #1 best use case for Ethereum.
Yeah, and they're dead.
That's it. But everyone built on it and then decided to move their application software elsewhere or build their private chains or fork the chain or whatever
Is
it was.
it dead though, Peter? Is it dead? I don't know. I think different forms or fashions, right? Like the ability to distribute your own, you know, let's call it equity, share, or whatever you want to call it, coin. Sure. Ethereum by far the most popular.
Our lawyers have banned your use of the word equity in that sentence.
But that's what it is, right? Like call governance, whatever the fuck it is, and there's going to be 10 iterations of it. But that's the easiest way to do something along those lines. And I'm not sure how long that lasts and what that time frame is, but it's by far the easiest.
It lasts until lawyers can argue that governance does equal equity. It's kind of how I see
Governance
it.
equals
And we
equity.
got 3 years of a down market, and then we got another fucking idea, and here we go, right? Like that's the situation.
That NBA player just tried to tokenize his NBA contract, and it basically utterly failed.
Spencer Dinwiddie.
Yeah, Spencer Dinwiddie. He raised like $2 million out of the $13 million he was trying to get, so they shut it down. Which, to me, doesn't speak that well or bode that well for sort of these securitized tokens at this stage. I think it's coming at some point, but I think we're still a little early. We need more on-ramps and more tools built out. Like it just happened today that they basically shut down that offering, which you'd think would be a pretty high-level offering, right? Like you have a chance to participate in an NBA player's contract, but no one cared. They got $1.35 million.
I don't know how much that speaks to like my developer. Like when I'm coming in, I'm saying, hey, well, what network do you want to build on? Oh, Spencer didn't make it happen. Like he was just releasing a token. Like that's such a funky thing, right? Like time plays such an essence there.
What about? Does it work?
We got a hand.
Does tokenized real estate or other fractionalized assets, has anybody been successful with the model?
That's the thing. Like a lot of projects have tried, and Harbor tried with that student building in Carolina the other year. They ended up shutting down. I think it's a matter of time, though. I think it's about these cool structured products and new ways of doing things that you can't really do that easily in the real world that will make a difference. But
you fucker, that's so frustrating. I've got to call this, and I know I'm losing. Motherfucker, we had the same hand.
My hand won.
Oh.
Take me out of that pocket, Pete. Let's go.
No, that was luck hand. That wasn't skill. Tell you what, I've had some rotten luck this evening.
Rotten luck.
You know what? Because you know the weird situation there, Luke, is like you put a massive bet in that previous one. I potentially put you all in, right?
Yeah.
And then you hit that, and we're both flush drawing on the river.
Yeah.
Hey, Luke, it's time to make a background photo with a pair of jeans and put Peter's image.
No way, man. No, you can stay there.
No. Peter's image is many a week's worth of poker. Like you can't with a hand.
That's the third massive time. That's the third big river I've had this evening against me.
Pete, I was trying to do the math on if I shove there, like how many hands are you calling with? Like, can I get more money on the river? So if I shove on the raise all in on the turn, I'm thinking the only thing you call me with is if you had Queen 10.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So I thought I could milk more money on the end.
So let me explain.
I think we both played it exactly perfectly. Like there's no other way to play that.
Yeah.
Like, you think you can.
Zero flaws there. Zero flaws. Perfect.
I think I could have tried it. I probably could have raised all in.
Literally, both of your poker coaches are gonna watch this, and they're gonna be so happy with the way you guys played that.
Peter
hand.
is my
Let me
Peter
explain
is my
what
coach.
let me explain what Luke just said to Peter just a minute ago. Okay, what he was explaining is Luke actually had Peter in his pockets.
Yes, exactly.
We
It's
were
time for
even.
Peter's bet.
We were evens on the turn.
Dude, I'm
Dude, he had a flush draw.
We were even. So did Peter.
Peter had a flush draw on the flop. Peter was better on the flop there.
I had a flush draw on the flop.
So you're saying I got in.
You came
So
hard.
technically, Peter had a better hand into the river.
Fucking hell! Finally, I'm surprised the board didn't. I'm really surprised you're calling that, Ed.
Yeah, I was just
You got a lot of hands ahead of you there.
That's straight draw though.
I wanted to suck out.
The river sucker would have been glorious there.
Right.
How much would you pay to see that?
$575.
To
I
be
like Ed's
honest,
point about paying to get that gratification of the sucker.
that was a bad call by me. I was definitely on tilt there, Ed, and I'm very sorry.
That's all right.
I've had 3 big rivers. A disproportionate amount.
Dude, I come here for fun and to forget about work.
I come to take as much money off all of you as I can. I'll be honest.
And I like that you're on the West Coast and it's the middle of the day. That's the best part. Let's come here and forget about work in the middle of the day when you technically should be working. That's the best part.
Wow. I mean, look, based on my chip stack, if I don't go all in pre-flop and just gamble, it's a losing battle.
Yeah.
Do it,
Yeah,
Crystal.
Crystal, if you call 50, if you bet 50 on the button, if you
I've
raise
already
to 50,
folded.
you should be
That's
all in right
absolutely
now.
ridiculous.
You definitely should be all in right now.
The pot to
No, I
stack.
think-
The pot to stack is 10x.
I would like
Pressure.
Good play,
calls,
Crystal.
good calls.
I have my
Get
money
Mike
with you.
out of this hand. Get Mike out of here.
luck, you know.
Mike,
on
we
my
haven't heard from you for 3 hours.
Mike,
You-
follow.
Crystal,
You have a good
don't-
hand to raise, you have a good hand to go all in here.
Crystal, don't
It's
hire
like
Bobby
3x
as your
of
poker
bet.
coach.
Technically,
I
Mike
haven't
folds.
gone all
Getting
in.
free
Oh
advice.
no, I was called all in,
I
but this
think
is
Mike
when
hit
I'm
the time
confident.
bank here. He still's got Luke behind him. He's calling. Luke's.
He's got the ace jack, Luke.
All right.
Hey, Crystal, you gotta thank Mike. Mike did you a favor there.
He can break your evening,
He did you a big favor.
Good.
I wanna
Luke,
see
you,
Luke
you,
call.
Luke, you can tell your hand now. It doesn't matter.
I want to see
Michael-
Luke all this.
Mike
Aces.
did,
right.
Mike
What do you got,
did
Luke?
Crystal a favor.
I got a king
What is-
jack.
aces or kings?
Do it.
Hold it, hold
Someone
it.
has aces or kings.
King Jack. you
I am
can't
feeling
call that
lucky.
unless
I'm feeling
it's
pretty
suited.
lucky.
Unless suited. It has to be hard.
Well, then it's
Love.
luck. It's luck.
Or I have
Good
aces. I'll fold.
Been running
Oh,
shit.
low roll aces.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, I didn't catch the jack. Pocket aces. I would have
Fucking-
called out.
I
What
would
a
have won that.
spot.
I would have won that hand, and I felt folded, for obvious reasons. Thanks, Crystal.
What did you have?
You have an idiot who goes all in when you have pocket aces. That never happens.
I
No,
would have.
no one would
I would have had
There's
two.
no way to tell.
I would have had 2 pair on that.
Two pair.
Luke,
Probably not calling. I'm probably not calling.
What's up?
Jack 10.
I'm
What did
probably.
you
I,
have?
I was
I
just
would've
kidding
made
around.
two
I wasn't even thinking about calling.
What did Luke have?
I like
King
to.
Jack?
I like to build the tension for the viewers at home.
Uh-huh.
All for the entertainment. I guess.
Most of
That's,
you
uh,
have nothing on most of the hands, so I just figured this would be a good opportunity to steal some of those.
There you go.
That's true.
No, that's a good all-in, Crystal. Like I do that
Yeah.
all-in for sure.
You
Like,
did.
your value is there.
It was if I felt the hand had
Get one
value.
person off, you catch a hand, like you're laughing.
Usually in this game, pocket aces is the losing hand.
Well, it was against an ace jack, so it's hard to lose.
I got pocket aces once.
Bader would bust my aces tonight with ace jack. The fuck up.
That's the vibe I'm on. Oh, I lost a couple grand so far since then, so it's not
Hmm.
All right, I just moved to Peter's neighborhood to commiserate with you.
Oh, nice. See, this is.
Hey, you're in Bedford. Like it. Still, nobody in Bedford knows what the fuck those things are. It's such a weird thing for us to have in our town.
It's
kinda
it's a,
cool.
it's a globally recognized.
Yeah, it looks cool. If you live in San Francisco, you might look at something like that and think, "Oh, that's kind of cool." No, it's really weird where we are.
That is very odd.
So, Chris, in 12 minutes, it'll be 8 p.m. What's the play for top of the hour?
I think we do a $50 flip. So what we'll do is everyone does 50, and then we'll check all the way down.
Let's do
I
an
think
all-in
do that
everyone
at
flip.
11 o'clock. Spice it up.
Oh, when are we
down.
playing?
All in. Did someone say
All in
all in flip?
Yeah, all-in everyone flip.
Everyone all in. I like
it.
that.
Chad's got the edge.
Yeah. No, you guys have the edge. I have the
Yeah,
least.
Chad's is laughing.
Chad gets to 8x his money or 9x his
That's
money.
value. That's value.
Match.
No
Wow.
one wanted that.
I don't know why it folded. I had pocket sixes. My shit got fucked up. I don't know.
So Bitcoin price has creeped up in the last 24, 48 hours. What's everyone's take on that? Is this the beginning of something, or is it just another blip?
This is the beginning of something. Feels like it. I feel in my gut.
It's been what?
Well, what are you looking at? Like 15? You think a move to 15?
I think we're gonna break 10 finally.
What do you mean finally? We keep doing it and then coming back.
Well, okay, no, I mean run well past 10. That's what I meant. Right.
Why now? What do you think's different this time, Ed?
I don't know. I said it's just the gut feeling. I
think, Peter, I think uncertainty is our friend here. Like, there's just been a lot of money moving around, and it's just so easy to say, like, why isn't Bitcoin moving? Like, Bitcoin's obviously the best. Everyone knows it, and everyone knows it. Any business, any individual that's in the space gets that for the most part.
Maybe
so
Bitcoin's finished.
Pardon?
Maybe Bitcoin's finished. We're done. It's over.
It doesn't, it doesn't make sense as money. That's for sure.
So one thing, my comment is, I'm sure you guys have noticed in the last 3 months, the stock market has been going crazy around the world, and to me, it's a very clear signal. And gold prices have gone up too, and it's a very clear signal that there's just too much money around. There's just all this money that's being injected into the system. Everyone's rich, so it's asset inflation, and I think Bitcoin is going to get its uptick very soon from that.
I just don't know how long that lasts, though, Bobby. Like, I don't know if it gets there in the next, if it gets weird because everyone's talking about like pre-election and post-election. That's what's so weird about the whole situation, because everyone's talking about such short time frames, and like I can see Bitcoin going to 15, 20,000 before the election, but I can also see it going to like 7,000, 6,000, by Q1.
Ed, you calling me there ace high?
Yeah.
What do you think I'm playing with?
So,
I didn't think
so Chris, so for speaking of the election 4 years ago, we were actually on a pattern to match the 2016 performance. If you recall, the price in 2016 was going between $400 and $600 right around the summertime, and the point is that right after the election, that's when it crossed, started creeping up, and then we broke the all-time high in January 2017. So if the patterns repeat, then we're in good shape.
Yeah, but the environment's different, right? So like, the stock market's significantly different from 16 to 20. Like that's the thing, because that's how I look at Bitcoin. I look at Bitcoin and I look at all the other assets as a product of what's happening in the stock market, because that's just the nature of, where we're at right now. And if the stock market is flying, like, I think it's arguable like Bitcoin can go up a bit and make a little jump.
It helps.
But the stock markets start dumping. That's it. Like there's no news. There's nothing, in my opinion, in the short term that can drive Bitcoin up.
So you're pessimistic?
Did you call the river there?
Pessimistic on the price?
I'm pessimistic in the next 12 months on the price. Yeah, like I'm
see.
heavy cash position right now,
That's
waiting
because
for.
you've turned to an ETH
You're
shell.
pessimistic about what, Chris?
I'm pessimistic about the next 12 months and where the
Of what?
overall market, where the overall markets are going to go. Like I think in the next 12 months there's going to be a decent amount of opportunity for buying much lower than where we are across, all the assets in the
So
crypto
will you,
space.
when you say you have cash on the side, Chris, will you actually go in and buy the dip? And what points will you buy in? If you can sort of give us a preview.
I'd 1000% buy 6, 7, even 8. I'm buying 6, 7, 8,000, right? For sure, 100% of Bitcoin.
I think there's a very good argument to sell Bitcoin just before the election, because there is that correlation between the stock market and Bitcoin, and the stock market's being propped up to keep Trump in power.
I agree with Peter on that, but
I agree with you.
I'd be
completely.
very tempted to sell.
That's where the conversation is.
I'd be very tempted to sell a lump of Bitcoin just before the election.
Would you sell it for cash or just put it into a stable coin?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question.
That's actually, I don't even know if that's a good question, because
Bitcoin's a stable
most
coin.
99% of the times you're putting it into stablecoin if you're in the industry today. I would argue.
Hey, actually, are the tax consequences? It's the same tax consequence, right? If you sell to stablecoin versus USD.
Yeah, but stablecoin, not for nothing, but you can manage how that's touching the banking system and how you record that from a corporate standpoint, right? Like,
Don't you guys worry about the risk?
It's not. Yeah, there's risk there. That's what I'm saying. It hurts me to say that because there's risk there, but that's the fact of the matter. Those rails aren't really, in focus.
So you're saying for trading purposes, it's advisable to go to stablecoin because that gets you back in fast. Whereas if you're selling for diversification, then you need the.
Well, it's not even just about that. It's like if you were to go to stablecoin, you can control when it hits or quote unquote touches the business if you're managing a business, and that's how you manage your income as an individual. If you're just doing it as an individual, there's just more flexibility in going to stablecoin. That's all I'm saying. And risk, of course, inherent risk.
So I'll tell you something funny. I've not looked at the top 50 cryptos for a long time because I don't care. But it's quite interesting to go back when you haven't been for a long time. So crypto.com is number 10. That was Monaco, right?
It was, yes.
Yeah, so that's a fucking scam. Top 10.
They actually have two different coins now. That wasn't Monaco. It's separate. But I see what you're saying. There are Monaco coins like 50.
Mine started as a scam, but I think they're actually making a lot of money.
Yeah, still a scam. What's hedge
Of course,
trade?
they're making a lot of money as a business head, but that doesn't change if they're a scam or not, right? Like,
Never heard of Edge Trade. Never heard of Aave. Never heard of OKB.
Aave is Lend.
That's OK Coin. That's OK Coin.
Yeah.
No, you've heard of OK Coin.
That's an exchange coin. OKB.
Never heard of Theta, Hyperion. Like these shit can get top 50 just because they want to.
Let me ask you a question. Is Polymath in that top 50?
No, it's like 200.
Why not, Chris? Tell us more.
Working long game, long time preference.
No. The only way Polymath gets up in there is they just do another token with some bullshit reason for doing it, like everyone else. It's all it is. There's number 57, the Midas Touch Gold. I mean, fuck off.
Waves is what? What list are you seeing this?
This is
Coinbase. He's right. Like, Midas Touch
Bitcoin Gold is still number 60.
Peter, if somebody put a gun to your head and made you buy a shitcoin, which one would it be?
Hold on, Peter.
I would die.
He said pull the trigger.
Peter owns shitcoins.
I would say I've had a good life.
I think Peter owns shitcoins.
The only altcoin I've got beyond like dust is Monero, because I've got a problem with my wallet and I can't figure out how to fucking send it. Don't get me wrong. I wish I'd bought Chainlink at 7 cents or whatever and taken people's money. I'm not denying that. But I'm just
so you're okay with taking people's money? Is that the case, Peter?
So I look at number one and say, okay, that's legit. That's Bitcoin.
That's like the shitcoin ethos right there.
I look at number 3, Tether. I say that's legit because it's Tether, and I'm about
Wait,
done.
wait. How is Tether legit? Just because it's Tether? That's illogical.
That was
number
a
15
big skip over.
Number 15, Monero's kind of legit.
But
Like, how is that any different than
There's
what?
so many conversations to be had within that.
The fact that Dogecoin is number 30 means everyone's getting played
Why?
because it's all bollocks.
It's a joke. It's all a fucking joke, man.
It's all of it's a it's a game of pass and
Wait,
parcel.
why is Dogecoin not valuable?
Yeah, what do you
If
mean?
You're just
Oh no, it's valuable because you can buy and trade it, but it is a joke.
right, but does that matter? That's the whole
Absolutely
point.
That's the whole
It doesn't-
point.
wait,
It does matter. It does
I
matter.
can't think of a
It
joke
matters.
that's I can't think of a joke that's got to the top 30 in the S&P.
But Dogecoin is the shining example of why crypto is successful inherently.
No. It's the shiny example of why crypto is fucking ridiculous.
But think about this for a second. If people agree that something has a value, like these poker chips on this digital table, then we all make the agreement. And so we operate with a trade of value. And this is the same thing that happened in Africa. They wanted cell phone minutes. Kenya does 50+% of its total GDP traded in digital currency.
I'm sorry, Chris, but you can't go from Dogecoin to Africa.
But it's
No,
all
no,
about-
actually,
it's all
actually you
about-
can. You
the
can.
jump.
And the difference being is those phone minutes have a use case in that you can make phone calls. None
Same
of this
with
has a use
Doge.
case.
I can send you
Yeah,
value.
Dogecoin has
I can send you
it's a store
value.
of value. It's a store
Nobody.
of value.
It's a store of bullshit.
Luke is a dope
But
shit.
people
You're
pay
crazy, man.
money for bullshit.
Bollocks. You're talking bollocks.
I can send
I
you
think
this.
Dogecoin is one of the greatest spawns of the crypto space, and they didn't have to have an ICO.
3 years down the line.
You talking about
4 years
Dogecoin,
later-
Crystal?
Yeah.
Dogecoin did not have to have an ICO. Is that what you said, Crystal?
Yeah, did they have it? Did they have
No.
an ICO?
No.
No, they didn't need to because it was a joke. It was a fucking joke. It
But
was-
because they were not raising money to put in their pocket, they were putting out something that everyone could store value in. Are you just mad because you have no Doge?
No, I'm not mad.
All right, give him 10,000 Doge.
I've never owned a Doge either.
Okay, I'm gonna study a Doge.
Have you got some Doge for me?
I was
like
trying to see. Now you want it
Well,
Why
because
do
you're
you-
a billionaire. You can.
because it's valuable.
If you buy me a Lambo, I'll put a
You
picture of
can
your
send
face.
whatever
crystal
Doge you
on it.
want.
I will.
There it is.
I will drive around with a picture of your face, Crystal, on my Lambo. But you have to buy
Uh-huh.
it.
Down with a picture of Luke's face all over your
Fine,
Zoom.
whatever. Just buy me a Lambo.
Pete, if you put my picture on your Lambo,
Real life.
I fully
That's
endorse
real
it.
life.
What are you gonna do when Doge shows up?
Doge 5.
What?
Oh, we're on the hour. Next game, next hand, Chris. What's the rule? Next hand.
Flip.
Let's do family
Doge.
pause. Let's do
Family.
we'll do $20 pre-flop,
Doge fight.
and then
I-
we play the hand.
Okay, but if anyone raises this time, then we're checking it all down.
Yeah, that's Ed. That's Ed right there.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't know. I partially agree with you, Peter. I tried to get a dog rescue to accept Dogecoin so that they could bring in crypto, and they
They
didn't want
said
to.
no. What?
The
I also
interesting
said
thing
$1,000
is
of
that
Dogecoin
it's not
they-
far-fetched, right? Like, you could technically get Doge accepted in a lot of places based on its distribution channels right now, right? Like, that's just a product of being around.
No,
money.
Doge is a tradable crypto token, but we will be traded on
No,
crypto
with this
exchanges.
distribution, Peter, it could technically.
It
like,
never
if
will.
someone if companies became obsessed with like.
They
and
won't.
became
It
obsessed
will
with
never.
trading Dogecoin, it
No,
has a
they
distribution.
won't. It won't happen.
There's
It will
no
never be.
possible company-
Wait.
It will
hundreds
never
of-
be
It's
anything.
called-
Everybody call
Whoa,
20.
whoa, this happened
Everyone
again.
call
Hold on.
20.
Hold on, you
Family
didn't.
call 20. No
Dude,
raises. Family
Oh,
call.
look, what a surprise. Ed
what's
fucked it
going
up
on
again.
here?
What a
Ed,
surprise.
you're
Did I
Ed.
mess up?
Ed, you're,
What a surprise.
Ed, you're a fucking disappointment.
Hold on, I have
Is it
seven.
still-
Dude, Peter.
Everybody
Oh,
call 20. Just call
Colin, right?
20.
Okay,
Chris,
Ed's
20.
still on the
Ed,
now.
Ed,
But
you're,
then there's post flop play, right?
Dude, I don't give
Yeah,
enough
there
money.
is.
You guys are pissed
Coach.
off. Funny.
Yeah,
We
Mike's
play the
popped
hand.
and he must have an ace king there. Careful for Mike. Be careful for Mike.
I'll be honest. There's 3 whiskeys in each of these whiskey sours, and I am really fucking wasted. I am so wasted right now.
I've been having sangria all night, by the way. So I'm right there with you. That's why I'm making async calls against you.
I'm like on drink 8 or 9 in that range, plus a gummy. So I'm 8 or 9 plus gummy. That's my vibe.
Peter, you know, Dogecoin isn't about Lambos, but they are about NASCAR. They did appear on a
It's
NASCAR.
just bollocks. It's just bollocks.
Showing how ridiculous it is and can be. The whole point is to break down the entire financial system.
No, it's not. It's just
It
bollocks.
is.
It's just bollocks. It's bollocks coin.
But we should make bollocks coin.
It's bollocks. Oh, it's just really upsetting. Really
What
disappointing.
about Reddit allowing all of their subreddits to create a token? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's bollocks.
Given that Dogecoin essentially originated on Reddit,
Yeah, it's still bollocks. It's just fucking bollocks.
but they've tokenized all of their communities.
No one cares. No one cares.
What about the people that buy Reddit Gold, which is a completely centralized number in a database that has no
Fuck
value?
me, has it? Oh,
No one cares.
I can't believe you got it. I can't believe it. I had 2 pair. I had you beat.
you didn't have me be his counterfeit. I thought for sure you had the ace. Ah, fuck.
No, I didn't. I wish I did. I still had to call you though.
I thought a flush and ace
was,
out there should scare you away. Clearly not.
I know, but I had to call you.
All right, Pedro, let's play. You call?
I'm just calling because it's you, Ed.
All right. You know, you know, there's somebody in the pot you can beat for sure.
I'd play you, Ed.
All right, Chris.
Hold on, Peter. So you said you like Tether? Like, do you see the value in Tether?
I see the value in stablecoins
Okay.
to get in and out of Bitcoin, and I've always thought the perfect wallet would be a Bitcoin wallet with a stablecoin. Like I went to Venezuela, I was like, that if you had that mix of the two, that gives you everything you need.
Okay.
Gives you savings technology and exposure to the dollar.
I'm just curious, and it's not too much of a leap to say, isn't it valuable to have a platform that lets you earn interest on holding stablecoins?
No,
Why?
it's too
That's
confusing.
crazy. That's
But
crazy.
it's- but it's not too. Let's say it's easy. Let's say that the interface is easy. It lets you
It's
earn
not.
interest on your stablecoins. You see value
Yeah.
in that? Isn't there value?
So, are you saying for eternity, anyone doing that will earn interest?
No, I'm saying you should be able to earn interest on your
What's
stablecoins.
the risk? What's the risk?
Two
Let me
weeks.
answer me this. What's the risk? Where do they have risk?
What?
That's their perspective, right? That's
No,
their
no.
risk.
But like, if you can
column.
put in and earn interest, what is the risk? Like, is it guaranteed interest?
No, nothing's ever guaranteed.
Well, pretty much. When I go to the bank, although they're only offering 0.5% now, it's pretty much guaranteed.
It's not
what is the-
guaranteed. You're insured a certain amount. It's still not guaranteed, and that rate can fluctuate. But
Well,
sure,
I
you
have a
get
feeling-
close to the risk-free rate.
Okay, so what are my risks? So I have a risk of what? I have a risk of not getting my interest.
Technology fucking
Sure,
up.
Sure,
my
you have,
asset?
you have a custodial risk if you're using that wallet and there's a chance there's backdoor. You have a risk of same with your Bitcoin or with your Tether there if you're not holding the keys, and then you have a risk of you fucking it up, and you have a risk of even having to learn it. That can be like kind of a knowledge
It's just
risk.
too much to think about for the average Joe. The average Joe
I'm not
doesn't
saying
even
yeah.
buy Bitcoin.
I'm not saying it's hard, but I'm saying wouldn't there be value? Let's say in your perfect world, you have a wallet that holds Bitcoin and Tether. You should be able to earn interest in those things.
I just think it's just too big a leap. Too much to understand. Too much to figure out. It's hard enough to get into people to
Peter,
understand.
I'll argue that doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah, that really doesn't make any sense. That's like saying we should never learn Bitcoin because it's too hard.
No,
It's
no,
just
I'm not
ridiculous.
saying that.
Bitcoin's money,
I'm just
then
saying-
that's what it's all about, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, it doesn't really doesn't make any sense. I'd argue.
No, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Why?
It definitely makes sense.
If Bitcoin is money, it should have functions of other money. We should be able to earn interest on things like stablecoins. If the stablecoin is
Like, what
going
are
to
you
participate
do
with,
it? Just buy shit? Like, what are you gonna do with it, man?
Yeah.
Like I'm all Bitcoin. Like that's my play.
No, you're not.
And
You're
it's
ETH.
like no, I'm not.
Nice hand, Ed.
I'm literally like under 2% ETH.
You literally
I swear
played
to
your
you.
hand earlier. No, all I'm saying is most of this is UX.
And I was gonna
It's not
overbet
whether
like
you're right or
700.
wrong.
I
What
would
I
agree
care
with
about
that.
is UX.
If you overbet, I would have folded. But if you bet like a standard bet out there, I was probably gonna call. I'm too fishy to like. There.
Like why wouldn't you earn interest on it?
I
Doesn't
thought
make
it was good
Okay,
actually.
if they want to earn interest, integrate BlockFi. Integrate BlockFi with it.
Yeah, if you trust them more than the smart contract, that's
like
your
saying-
that's,
yeah.
Way more. I don't trust
that's
smart
your
contracts.
decision. That's their risk tolerance, right?
I don't trust smart contracts.
It's like saying if you want to store value, use the USD. I mean, it's like people are going to build decentralized options.
Yeah, but Luke, if he doesn't trust smart contracts, so that's fine. Like,
I don't trust them either.
That's the line.
I don't
Nobody
use
should.
it, but I see the value in it.
Well, you're wrong.
I'm not. You see the value
isn't a
in
right
Tether as
wrong,
well.
Peter. There isn't a
No,
right
I'm just saying, objectively speaking, you're wrong.
That's
Well, if you put it that way.
that's just incorrect.
No, because I tell you what, why you're wrong, is that yes, you can add this facility and this functionality, and then this person who's used to just a very normal, simple life goes in and think, oh, what do you mean I lost a bunch of my stuff?
Pete,
yeah,
what-
there was like this mining meme pool bug, which meant
Pete,
25% everything.
we're not talking. I'm not talking hypotheticals or the average person. I'm just saying,
No,
is
I'm
there
talking
value?
about the experience
I'm
people
not.
go through. Too much shit gets stolen. People don't understand it. It's a nerd toy for nerds to try and like outcompete or out cheat people. It's not a mainstream toy. It's bollocks.
I don't disagree with that, but I'm saying, isn't there
Okay, well,
value
then
in
I'm right
earning
then.
interest in Tether or Bitcoin?
Not in a mainstream application for people who don't want to deal with the fuckery.
Okay, for you and me,
That
isn't
suggests
there
that
value?
Bitcoin never gets over the hump.
If you want to, I don't care, but you can if you want.
Okay. So
I'm
you
sorry. It's annoying being right, but I just don't think people care. I'm telling you now, if I try and explain this to my dad, he's like, I don't care. I don't get that.
I mean,
You know, there are a lot of people on the planet. If you tell them you're going to give them something worth money, they'll figure out how to accept it. Like they'll figure out how to get the wallet. They'll figure out how to take the Doge. They might not want the Doge, but they want the dollars that are associated or whatever the other thing is, like whatever the other crypto. It's all about value.
You can't handle the Doge.
Know is that I would definitely earn interest on something sitting in a digital wallet. What percentage of my total portfolio? That's arguable, but for the most part, I would.
yeah, I think
can
any
do that
rational
with
thinker would
Compound
as
or
well.
Lots of other DeFi projects.
It's not going to be mainstream, but any
What a
rational
needle.
human
Same
would.
thing as USD.
As a
It's irrational to say you
disclaimer,
wouldn't earn interest.
I've never put a dollar in DeFi. There's a disclaimer. I've never put a dollar in DeFi.
I'm the same way. I still think
Me
it's
too.
rational to want interest on your money that you're holding in a certain account. UX is terrible. I don't disagree.
Damn.
Damn.
You didn't bet the river. Mike, do you know what I was saying to myself there?
Close your eyes and call.
No, so I was saying to myself, you bet 600, I'm fucking calling you. You bet 200, I'm out. You know how you get it, right?
Yeah, I've heard of some strategies like that. It's worked out well. You've made all the right calls. Just bleeding away here.
$160 bet from Spada.
Par for the course.
Yeah, it's 160 bet. There you go.
That's funny. What does that mean?
How did I know you're going to do that bet?
The chance of you having a 7-4 is high.
Normally you bet, yeah, right. You're folding so fast, make your head spin.
320 bet. Oh. You had the queen. I was just
Oh my
fucking with you.
goodness.
I was literally
goodness.
fucking with you.
Wow, that was a huge.
Wow.
How big was that pot?
Do you know what happened there? Do you want me to
You're
talk you
such
through
a.
that? Do you want me
You
to
know
talk you through that? Should I talk you through that? What happened there?
I don't need.
I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
Okay. So
That's what it
Let's
is.
hear it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
So I say the 160 raise as a joke. And he does it. So I call thinking I'm gonna bluff the next hand. And then it comes out and it gives me my straight and my flush draw. And I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna bluff this. I don't think you've got the queen, Chris, by the way.
Hey, you just call, flat call.
Yeah, and then it comes out the river. I'm calling. I'm not raising because you might have king or ace, right? But I'm calling.
In the river, why didn't you bet, Peter?
Because he might have the king or the ace. What am I going to do? I'm not going to raise him.
All I know is I don't know what to say there. That's all I'll say. Like, what can I have done different? I bet all the way through. With
You could save 600 and not bet on
No,
the
you
river.
played it right. It's a bit like that 10-8 earlier.
I was thinking,
you like bringing up
you're
the 10-8.
you're calling my bets, but
Yeah.
for the most part, those bets are pretty close to what I'd bet anyways. Even with on that queen, it's like,
Yeah.
sure, I bet half a pot because there's a spade draw in there, and then it doesn't hit on the flop, or it does hit on the turn. It's like, okay, let's see if you have it. So I'll bet half again, and then let's see. Right?
Yeah, it's bollocks. I remember that 10-8 earlier.
Yeah, that's how it goes, right?
I feel your pain.
It's not pain.
That was lucky. I didn't think you had the queen. I called the 160 because I thought you were going to steal it. That's why I said it. And then you did the 160. I'm like, okay, he's trying to steal it. So I called it.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have gone. Whatever I threw there, 180.
No, you throw anything else in there, I fold. You do the 160, but it was
No,
so.
you're lying.
No. I tell you why, because
You're
the 160
lying.
No, I promise you, the 160 came in so quickly after I said it. It's almost like you already had it ready. So I call it ready to. I've got nothing on that board. I'm calling it ready to bluff you next hand.
There's
That's all it is.
There's no way you call that if it's 180. I mean, there's a way you definitely call that if it's 180.
Why? Well, I've got nothing on. Why am I calling? What have I got on the board?
You're the same justification for 160.
No, I've got nothing on the board.
Yeah, right.
I'm just trying to fuck with you. I've got literally nothing on the board.
Good play, Peter. That was a good bluff intention that won you the pot.
Well, we got a lot of action here. I like that, Jack.
Call it.
I can't call it.
That'd be good.
Can't call it.
You're gonna shove it.
No, I'm gonna fold.
All right, good.
I had a head.
I was surprised you guys both called the raise.
I had a middle pair at a 9-8 with an open ender.
I'm going to stop in what is it, 13 minutes on the half hour.
Good.
What's that? 13 more minutes, Bobby.
Yes.
Go
Chance
to
to take
the
all
hour.
my money.
Go to the hour.
I can't. Sorry.
Comes from Peter that's supposed to be out early. So
I know. It's just it's
I
weird.
like that. Keep playing, Pete. You took a
No,
few
I
of my
can play it.
chips. Fuck that. I want
It's
those
just-
chips back.
It's just weird to see Bobby leave in profit. So
Uh,
kind of stick around.
Bobby is decent. Bobby runs well.
I'm
Don't
teasing.
forget
I'm
Bobby.
teasing. I'm teasing. Back to the hand spatter. If I raise you, you're calling, aren't you?
Of course, I have trip queens.
Peter,
Are you kidding me?
how do
you
you
hate that
find
board.
yourself into chip lead every single time?
He
Yeah.
cheats. That's why, Mike.
Yeah,
He
it's,
cheats.
it's cheating. I've got a guy here helping me. I can see the cards.
Just poker code.
He's got Luke
I'm
in the
lucky.
pants in the pocket.
Oh, yeah, I've done that tonight, despite that 10-8, despite your one.
10-8.
Yeah,
Infamous
listen.
10-8.
I hope to catch it again, man. Fuck that.
How do I do it every week?
Next game, I'm gonna have Peter in my pockets.
You're gonna beat me first, bro. This one doesn't count though because I'm like 1,500 in the hole, so this is really like 2.5.
You buying for
They're going to
15?
say 1,500 drinks.
Hmm.
Tens.
Hey, good hand. I like 10s. I really like 10s.
Me too. Hey Pete, so I sent you Damien that
Yeah, I did. I
That-
replied to him. Thank you.
I think
You
he's
rate
good.
him. You like him, right?
yeah, man, he's a good dude.
Yeah. Thank you.
Obviously I've talked to him a bunch of times, just in helping with this, but he was just like so forward. He's like, yeah, man, I'll help, and he's just been volunteering and helping this. That's a lot right there. But even his resume is just fantastic.
You can tell a lot from the way people email you.
Hmm
Yeah, if they email you, you should fire them because nobody uses email.
What are you on about?
Maybe not in
That's
Puerto
a very
Rico.
that's a very stark kind of process there.
I mean, I'm half kidding and it's half true. Email is so archaic. And by the way, email is not encrypted at all.
He wrote a very considerate and well-structured email. And I
You're
appreciate
just pumped because he's like, I've watched every episode that you've ever made. That's why.
No, do
Uh-huh.
you know what it is? I put the thing out, like one guy, like in the thing, I always say, don't DM me. And one guy DMs me. I'm like, you can't have the job because I said, don't DM me and you DM me. Like, you can't read basic instructions, so you're not employable. Like, that's just like a no.
Yeah, the way I look at it is like, if I'm building a business and a brand, someone that knows a lot about my brand and business, that's tons of value, right? Like
Yeah, of course.
that helps you out right out of the gate.
I agree, but like if someone can't read a fucking email, like a basic
Agreed.
instruction,
It's like, yeah,
They're-
that's
they're-
step one, right? They're done.
they're unemployable.
They're done. Do you have one person that DM'd you like that, or multiple?
I like it happens all the time. You're like, here's basic instructions, and people just don't listen.
Decent pot here, 1,000 chips.
Right. I didn't even realize I had that hand.
Big board too.
Now you know.
Well, Mike's gonna put like 600 in.
Mike, don't listen to him.
He's gonna do it. He's gonna put 600 in. I'm gonna call him. He's gonna lose.
Oh, so fuck.
Put him on tilt. Wow. Throwing him
Oh,
all
that's
over.
really good. That's really good.
Has him beat.
Oh.
I had the king.
Oh.
He's calling. He's calling.
I wish you'd put that 600 in, Mike.
I was going to put 1,600 in.
Psychological. It's all psychological now. He's not playing the cards. He's playing the player.
Why didn't you put the 600 in there, Mike?
That's hilarious.
Didn't do it.
Much credit.
I
Well,
wish
that
I
was
was
like-
I had the
That's
king.
like that's your standard 600, 660 bet. Is it 660? I've got it here. Hold on. Let me.
Yeah, writing down all our hands together.
Mike River 660. But yeah, Chris, he was great. Like, great email, totally employable. Really like the guy. Hopefully, I'll work with him. So thank you, I appreciate that.
He's done a great job with the videos on Crypto After Dark. It was essentially like a couple conversations. It's like, hey man, like this is what we're trying to do. He's like, man, I love fucking Bitcoin. It's awesome. You know, let me create some stuff, and that's it. That's the extent of it.
Yeah, I think this video is actually
They're pretty sweet.
They've been great, really high quality.
Yeah, really good, man.
Are you still running the live stream?
Toronto guy, Chris?
Yeah.
Pardon, Chris?
Toronto guy or someone else?
No, California.
Are you still running the live stream?
Yeah, I still have it up.
Yep.
Do the viewers chat with us?
Oh, that's one thing I haven't checked.
They're just all bots. They're all bots on Twitter.
If Bobby retweeted it, then it's definitely a bunch of bots. That's for sure.
GPT.
That's for sure. If it came
Yeah,
from Bobby's Twitter,
my bot army, my Twitter army.
Have you guys been seeing that new
third layer of
GPT-3 AI stuff?
Focus on the table and focus on the conversation and focus on the people chatting on the live stream.
That's why I got 3 eyes.
Three layers.
Crystal, you're not supposed to get that joke.
I know, I'm too young.
Have you guys been looking at that GPT-3 AI stuff that's going on?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
It caught me on the weekend, last weekend. It caught me off guard a few times. That's for sure.
Like you're reading an article saying, oh, this is well written, and then at the bottom it's like, this was written by a bot.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You haven't seen any of that, Bobby?
Maybe I haven't gone to the bottom.
Man, like, it's blown me away, actually. It's pretty cool. What's the whole story behind it? I haven't looked into any of that, Chris. Like, what's GPT-3?
I'm not really the expert at all on this, but it's this OpenAI project. I think it's Elon Musk and a couple other guys. They're just trying to.
I know it's like Sam Altman from Y Combinator is definitely associated with it in some regard.
They're just open sourcing all of it. I don't know much more than that.
Anybody here know? Like, what's the whole stitch with it? GMT3.
Man, the hand's brittle.
I had it. Come on, you should have called. That was a call me call bet.
I had the queen. I don't know. Could have lost a lot of money.
I guess that's nobody that has followed it.
Peter's bartending it up.
Yeah. Making a whiskey sour.
Oh, look at that bartender. Give him a tip. That hat's so cool. He looks so cool in that hat. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, man. Looks like Tom Cruise and cocktail right there.
I couldn't even tell the difference. I thought Tom Cruise came to the game. I don't know. He had some random guy in his pocket. Some random 20-year-old child was in his pocket. It was very odd.
Chris, you sound a bit right now.
Pardon?
Over that hand.
Check raise, huh?
I just don't like the whole like draw thing after having trauma. I have PTSD from everybody hitting things on the end. I feel like
that's not PTSD. That's just poker.
You have river PTSD.
We're not at the river yet, so.
Well, if you're my poker coach, maybe you can teach me what to do on this hand.
Tough hand.
Who are you asking?
Bobby. You're my coach,
Oh,
right?
okay.
You're
I was just wondering.
You couldn't tell by Bobby's shirt that he was a poker coach. I thought immediately that was his profession.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, the Bitcoin stuff is that's just side stuff. My main hobby is poker coaching. All right, let's see.
From all the strategies in this group, they devolve over time during the live stream process, but
so Chris, you have the ace. You must have the ace as a good poker student.
I mean, if I were trying to chase you off of a draw, there you go.
Yeah, good hand. Wow, 2 pair. Oh goodness.
Yeah, I just didn't want that draw. It's like, damn.
That was a scary draw. You could have got called there with like a 10
the straight and the flush and the thing. It was too much.
Too much action. The shirt didn't work for you, Bobby. I don't know what to say.
The what didn't work?
The shirt.
Oh, the shirt's doing fine. It's paid for itself.
Your lucky shirt.
195. Jesus.
No, this is Vegas shirt for sure. This is Vegas 101.
All right, what's going on here? 200? Just me and you?
Heads up, buddy.
Oh, nice. Chris, you teleported into the other Chris's location. That's good.
We are Chris. That's the answer. We are Chris.
Yeah. I needed to mix it up. It wasn't going so well in my house.
All right, this is my last hand.
Is it Hauser or Hooser?
Hauser.
Hauser. I was about to call, and then you went with one of your mental bets. I would have had the flush draw there. That would have been interesting.
Oh, on that one just now?
Yeah, I had clubs, 6-10 clubs.
The only reason I did that is because I knew Bobby was leaving, and I figured he was
like,
splashing
I'm gonna
around.
fuck with Bobby.
I just thought he was splashing around.
The problem with announcing your last hand.
That's a good point. I never thought of that. I never thought people would try to catch me on that. All right, next time I won't announce.
You're just gonna ghost out of here.
Just play another hand and then.
It's Bobby's last hand. Everybody in.
All in flip. Bob, you're playing one more then?
No, I'm leaving. I'm heading out.
All right.
One flip, Bob.
All right, deal then, Bobby. Flip. Deal.
I'm out. I'm out with 2-3-7-4.
Oh, Ed, you and me again.
Always you and me.
Just you and me.
Good night, Bobby.
Okay.
See you,
Good
buddy.
seeing you all.
See you, buddy.
Good game, man.
Bye-bye. Next time.
You're bluffing me too, right, Peter?
Sorry, what? I didn't hear that. I'll answer you once you called.
Yeah.
Good luck, everyone, okay?
See you, man.
Have a good night, Bobby.
Thanks, Bobby. See ya.
Free money.
Mike, gotta get you off that mute button. What are you doing over there? You're working too hard, man. Stop
I'm
working.
here.
You don't need to work. What's up, bro?
I'm just cursing under my breath because Peter's scooping up all the money.
Yeah.
I've had a lucky week this week. Spider, what happened? Did you like bank some of your winnings earlier? Did you like take them off the table?
I should have. I was up to 5,000 chips. It's actually pathetic. I don't know where it all went. I know I beat me all in.
I assumed you took like 2,000 off or something.
Yeah,
Looks like
3,000.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. Sure, we'll go with that.
That's
I
a
did.
sensible move, man. I would have done the same.
You're smart. Yeah, I'll tell you, man. Like 5 years from now, you're gonna look back and be like, "Wow, I won $10 million. Like this is fantastic."
I gotta go tuck my kid in, so I got one more hand too.
Good luck.
But I am honored to
Chet, you've been
play with
running
you guys.
slow.
Thanks,
You've been
Jed.
running
I'm
slow,
out.
bro.
Looks like
Like all night. It's been pretty slow. No cards, huh?
It's all right. I try to pick my spots. I haven't had much, but I love listening to you guys talk about the technology angle because I don't know anything. So I just enjoyed it. You know, it was just
Learn
Jed,
it, man.
man.
Like,
Love
that's
you,
what it's all
bro.
about. Like, the fact that it's early, you
Yep.
know, learn that shit, man. Like that's gonna
Yeah.
change the world. That's gonna change your future and your family's future and all that.
It's a great ecosystem.
Crystal.
You know, I'm
Let's
just
put
happy
that-
to be part of it.
Jeds, we'll speak in a couple of weeks, man. I love you, bro.
I love you,
Everything
man.
stand for everything you've done. Always appreciated you. If people don't know, this guy is he's a minor legend.
in my mind, maybe that's about it.
Look, dude.
It is mine.
I appreciate you a lot. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, I'm glad I get to sit with you
One
guys.
day I'll see you without a mask. We'll have a beer and all that shit. But take care,
Yeah.
bro. Appreciate you.
Definitely. Much love to everybody, and we'll talk soon.
Peace, Jed.
Peace out. See ya.
Vote for Brock.
Vote for Brock.
Was he serious that he doesn't know who Brock is, or was he just like?
No, he might not. He might not. He
think
just
he was
sits and
serious.
trades.
Fair enough.
He doesn't care about ecosystem. He just cares about what goes up and what goes down. I'm pretty sure he's Luke. You know Cheds, right?
Somewhat familiar, yeah.
He's like in recovery from cancer now, right?
Yeah. He did in recovery now, and right when he got it, he said he was going to write a book. I think the book just came out in the past.
I've got the book. I've got the
month or
book.
two, yeah, pretty wild.
But I think it's not just he's in recovery himself. I think he looked after his mother while she had cancer, and I could be wrong. So people should double check. But I think his mother might have passed. I could be wrong though. But I think, and again I could be wrong. I think his mom and him both had cancer at the same time. So he wrote a book about it. I could be wrong on the facts, but some of this is right.
Well, the question is, why didn't we talk to him about that when he was on, right? Like that's
about his book.
Something else.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much you'd want to. It's a good question. I don't know.
That's powerful though, man. If you're going through that and then you want to write a book to share it.
Why are you checking down your 7-2, Peter?
I don't have a 7-2.
Come on.
House has a hand.
House, where are you? What is that dungeon you're in?
That's just even though I have a hand, I'm not calling it. Why the fuck would you call that?
I love how my dungeon shows up better than Chris's dungeon.
What a dungeon you're in. That's such. You're disgusting. Who would ever put video on in that type of environment? Like that's terrible.
What about your Zoom backgrounds? You can, put somebody in a pocket, travel to London.
I gotta get one. I gotta get it on that meme. Situation.
Embrace it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have one custom made for next week.
You have to have one for Peter.
Yeah.
You can't let him dominate you like this.
We will.
He's top chip leader. He has your face in his pocket.
Oh, we will. We'll have one made.
Yeah. Do you know what you could do, Luke? You could have one of you dreaming, like you get those things where it's like a cloud. It's like little bubble cloud.
Yeah,
and
sure.
you could be like dreaming of climbing out of my bucket.
Oh man,
that'd be great. I have a better idea, but we'll see next week.
Yeah, let's try it.
I think you'll like it.
you can use Fiverr. Get somebody to just make a graphic.
Yeah, I'm
One thing I've noticed is British style banter doesn't really work with Americans. They just think you're like, if this was England, everyone would be just like rolling around, not giving a fuck. And Americans think you're just like, that Peter McCormack, he's a fucking tool.
I don't think that's really. Is that the reaction you get?
I'm not talking about here, probably more Twitter, but like, I think Americans aren't as used to we call it banter, aren't as used
Mhm.
to the banter as we are.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Guy Ritchie films a lot, but definitely a lot of the words that they call each other all of the time are those things that we find really offensive.
Like cunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, women don't like that word.
So
Should've gone
Yeah.
all in.
cunt is a strange word in the UK because it's kind of can be really endearing. Like if you turn around to one of your buddies and say, "Oh, you're a funny cunt," that's about as nice as you can be about them. Genuinely, I'm not joking. Like, "Oh, you're a funny cunt." That's like it's a really like, a kind of high compliment. Whereas if you say something like, "Mate, I don't really like you," that's really cutting. Like most people, if you said to them, "I don't really like you," they'd be quite upset by that because it's genuine and real. Like once you add swearing in the UK, it loses its effect on the negative side. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I mean, in theory, yes, but it's, how you see Dogecoin is how I see that model of humor.
Yeah, it's probably about the same.
Chris, how the fuck did you end up with 7-9 at that river, man? Oh, it's so
Beauty
brutal.
hand. Beauty hand.
3 of these rivers tonight are just blowing my mind.
I should have gone all in though. I was really thinking about it. I think you would have called.
Oh, I definitely would have called. I mean, that's like, how the fuck do you get there with 7-9? So you're just you're floating the whole time, 7-9, no clubs.
It was an open end straight draw
Open
right
end?
from the start.
I guess I
It was
could have raised
10.
more on turn. I kind of let that go on turn.
No, 7-9 suited and then 10-8 on the flop, so it was open ended the whole way.
Man.
You go ahead. Peter, what happened in the early night here? What's your plan?
I was meant to. In 20 minutes, I'm done. And then it's 5 o'clock.
Done it.
I can be up at 9. That's 4 hours sleep. I think I'll do that. I'm so pissed. These whiskey sours, they always have 3 bourbons in. So this is 10 to 12 bourbon.
I love bourbon. Bourbon's fantastic.
Do you ever have it in the sour, like egg white?
I never do.
A sour is really
I drink it
addictive.
on ice with a little orange.
Like a old fashioned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll make you a sour. When we hang out, I'll make you a sour. You'll like it. It's good, but you got to have the egg white.
Yeah, that's what I'm always missing is the egg white.
In 2022?
No, fuck that, dude. As soon as Trump's lost the election, the Democrats won't give a fuck. People will be coming in.
Wait, what do you mean? They'll be more relaxed about travel, aren't they? The
Yeah,
ones
of
right
course they
now
are.
that are more crazy about wearing a mask?
They're just losing their shit to try and get Trump out, right?
I would bet against that, Peter.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Really?
Like, they're the ones that are very controlled. They're going to be even harder and more restrictive.
No, I think it's about winning an election.
I think they're, but like, you can't just do a 180 on policy and be like, oh, that was to win the election.
Yeah, you can. I genuinely believe there are Democrats hoping the death numbers go up.
Oh, I think that's true as well. I definitely think that's true.
Yeah. But once they've got to sit in that seat and they realize economic apocalypse, they want people not to be stuck at home. They want people to go to work.
Sure.
I think it's a very small percentage of Democrats.
I would have been in a tough spot if you bet there. Don't know what I would have done.
You wouldn't have folded.
When you say Democrats, you mean the actual politicians.
Four card flush on the board.
You wouldn't have folded.
Yeah.
You put me on a flush there. No way.
No, you could have check raised with the ace of diamonds and something.
I don't know. I'd have to really push it. That was my thing. I was like, well, I could raise here, but is it enough to convince them that I have the flush? And I was like, the way it all came out. I put you on that, right? Like I knew that's what you're dealing with.
Is anyone following the Amber Heard Johnny Depp story? The thing that's happening in the UK courts.
No.
Sounds interesting.
Nobody.
Why is it in UK courts?
What's going on with it?
Johnny Depp is suing a UK newspaper that said he's a wife beater, relating to Amber Heard, and they're having a full trial now where she's making accusations, he's denying them. Is anyone following this?
Never heard of it.
No, pointless. It's just very interesting because a lot of stuff's coming out.
So they were married, those two.
Yeah, they were married. But if you're not following it, it's hard to ask questions.
I'm only following it in the sense that I saw.
Should I go on Perez Hilton's website?
There's some crazy headlines in the past week about like why they divorced.
Well, on that
whole thing's
line,
crazy.
what does everybody think about what Kanye's rants? Like he's just been ballistic on Twitter the last couple of days.
Oh, last night.
Obviously, he was
going
hacked.
He is bipolar.
I don't think
Obviously,
he's
he's
hacked.
hacked.
But you think he's hacked?
No, I
Everybody
don't.
was hacked.
Not. He's definitely
No, this was
not hacked.
this was not hacked.
If he wants to
fucking-
use
I think he's just
the
crazy,
excuse
man.
that he was hacked, it would be valid.
I think it's pretty on character. I mean, the last
it's
video he
hard.
posted is pretty bizarre, man. I
And
guess that was on the
Kim went
21st.
off. Kim was like showing her support and stuff today. I think it's hard for him to say he was hacked.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Like, you know, I'm just thinking as a spouse. I'm like, you know, my spouse is posting that online and like that type of attention. It's like, holy shit.
They have
cool.
serious.
Did he say anything that was like crazy out of line? I didn't see.
Oh yeah, enormous amount. He's like, you know, Kim's mother is like, you're crazy. I would never let my kids do anything like this. Come see me. We need to talk. Like, come to the ranch. He posted a video of him and Dave Chappelle, and he's just talking nonsense.
But like, what if she did do something crazy?
I don't know. I guess, but like, then you ask yourself, like, why would someone put that to 31 million people? Like, and like the way it's pretty fucked up while running for president of the United States, you know?
Yeah.
Kim has double the amount of followers he has. He has 30 million. She has 60 plus million.
Well, he has an album coming out on Friday. I think that's why.
He's got an album coming out.
That's
Friday.
why the episode.
Yeah, that's why I think that's why he's doing this.
That's all it is. That is all it is.
He announced the album on like Tuesday after his first rant.
Of course he did. Of course he did. Fuck's sake.
And of course, it's all about God.
Yeah.
Like the whole album is about God. That's what.
It's bullshit.
His rant is kind of cool.
You think his rant's kind of cool?
No, his ranch, not his rant. His ranch, the land. It looks pretty nice.
Yeah, the ranch is pretty cool.
You should have a
That's for
ranch.
sure.
I think Kim Kardashian is pretty cool.
Is this a British humor thing that I don't get?
No, and not in a. I don't find her attractive, not my type, but and now, you know, I just think she always seems to at the right time say the right thing. She often surprises me, and I'm like, yeah, that was really cool. Like the whole statement on this bipolar today. Basically, wrote off his whole presidential election, and you end up feeling sorry for him, and you're okay with it. Whereas she's probably sitting at home thinking, "What the fuck are you doing?" I think she's very cool.
Okay.
Am I on my own here?
My bedtime. Well,
No.
I mean, look, it's either vote for her for first lady or vote for me for first lady. So what can I say?
There you go. That's all it's about, Crystal, right?
They have a few
What
more.
it all
than we
comes
do.
to.
With your help, we can
Less-
change the world.
Less than half the people in this chat can vote.
But
Yeah.
every person in this chat can tweet, and that is sometimes more important. All right, guys, I think it is past my bedtime.
Bye, Crystal. Nice to see you.
My bottle of wine.
Hey, Crystal.
See, Crystal.
Later.
Thank you so much. Please take my money again next week.
You got a stack over there, 2,500.
Well, I bought in once.
Peter,
That
one
puts you
time.
about even, right?
I'm at 20. Well, let me go back in for a second.
You go up to menu statistics. It's,
24.95.
do you see where it says menu, Crystal? It says menu statistics. You can actually see whether you're up or down for the evening.
Oh, I see. That's helpful, actually.
Pots won. Who has the most pots won?
Not me.
Which one is the biggest shark?
Peter, have you seen that BBC show Capture?
No, I haven't. What's it about?
All your CCTVs in Britain.
There's a
And-
lot of that.
Yeah, and people edit them. So you think you're seeing a live feed, but they edit them. It's really good, actually.
Oh my gosh.
Is it a comedy?
What's that?
Is it comedy?
No, it's like a drama.
Oh, okay.
Did you see that article that came out? It was like a week or two ago about Chris Larson or whoever it is that founded Ripple. He has like hundreds of cameras he's funding to set up around SF. Have you seen that? It's insane. Peter, did you see
Yeah.
that?
Tried to get there with 7-2. Didn't happen, Chris.
Are you kidding me, Hauser? Get the fuck out of here, bro. I had you fucking done on the flop with that ace.
No.
It's so hard to leave. I'm gonna go.
Dave.
It's hard. It's so hard to leave. It's so interesting.
Get back in.
That tells me so much.
I know. Well, join me next week. Come on, crypto charity poker.
We'll
Let's
join
do
next
it.
week.
Wednesday. Everyone's in. Everyone's in.
I'll be in next
signed
week.
up.
I will see you guys at the final table.
Did you say it was the
Luke
fifth-
came
fifth
second
one?
to me once. That's his best. That's his best finish. Just saying.
You won with ace 6. I had ace 10. I had you dominated.
Luke, I don't even. The funny part is, I don't even know what I won with. That's the best part. I couldn't even recall.
You caught a
But all I
6 on
know
the
is I
river.
won. So.
Man, Brock was on the final table on the first one. I was out at number 11, second table. So I will see you on the final table this time.
See you there.
Uh-oh.
Okay, what are you doing?
Yeah, what's going on here? Who's timing? Oh, it's Peter.
He's filling up his drink.
Like, I want some action here. You've been quiet over there, dude. We gotta
Trying.
We gotta spice it up a little bit.
Man,
I know. I just
You haven't seen any
they
cards,
keep
or-
giving me like Jack Deuces. Toss me some luck. Can you throw me anything?
Should I give the platform a call, or what should I do?
Yeah.
Let me give him a buzz.
give who a call?
Yeah, I'll give him a call for you. Not Ed, for you, no. No. You get
What?
nothing. You get
Alright.
no call. Okay. Why don't you just ship it? How about that?
All right, it's coming. True story.
You have more chips than me, man.
Ooh.
Doc, I'm stuck. I'm probably stuck more than you are. I'm down 1,000 chips or 950.
I'm down 15, I think.
I did not mean to time out, but I'm probably okay with it. I had 7s.
Did you beat?
Wow. Full 7s there. Jeez.
I timed out. I didn't want to. I probably
Yeah.
would've called.
Okay.
Chris, I was behind, you said, though?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
I had kings.
Oh, that Chris.
He 4-bet, so it's probably not the best call.
So we got a small crew here. What do we want to talk about, boys? Let's spice it up a little bit. What, Pete, you're leaving in what, 8 minutes?
Maybe 5 more after that. Are we on film?
Yeah, I might cut the stream anyways at the end.
All right. Everyone, thanks for watching Crypto Crispo. How about that? Crispo After Dark. I like that even better. I'm like at least 12 drinks in. Crypto After Dark. Here it is. And it's in its flesh.
Freezing up here.